Hanju expressed his wish to not leave this world and continue to be by Xing Hongxian's side. In another scene, Zhou Fang and Mi Fu too were tied up and hung upside down in a dark cave, while Yang Tiandong walked in. Zhou Fan cursed Yang Tiandong as a demon's henchman and mentioned that his master would be disappointed if he knew. "Mifutu, you are a good man." Zofan repeated it several times. Mifutu tried to calm things down. "It's okay, Zofan. It's not his fault, it was our bad luck to enter someone else's territory, and you killed one of their guards impulsively." The great sage of the Great Python asked Yang Tiandong how they should deal with Zofan and Mifutu, suggesting cooking or refining them into elixirs. Yang Qiandong was disturbed by the thought of killing them, but the great sage insisted that it was only fair to repay life for life, and encouraged Yang Tiandong to sever ties with humans in order to inherit their power. Yang Tiandong, however, did not wish to become a demon but was conflicted. Meanwhile, a small demon reported a fire caused by Dong Guangxian of the Formless sect, who sought revenge for his master. Dong Wanchen challenged the great sage of the Great Python, who appeared and revealed that she was pleased with the news of Dong Wanchen's master's death. A battle between them began. Meanwhile, in the cave, Hanju was oblivious to the events that were about to unfold and might never see anyone again. Since Xing Hongxian's departure, Hanju had returned to his cultivation practice. Sometimes, he tended to the heaven-earth grass, which was now growing more vigorously due to the density of spiritual energy there. Hanju hoped that the grass would develop some spiritual intelligence, but he played with Chick the chicken so as not to trample it since it had grown quite large. Soon after, Li Qinzi came to visit him. Hanzhou asked if the Formless sect was causing trouble again. But Li Qinzi said no, explaining that the sect's supreme elder was near the end of his life. Hanju, familiar with the elder, offered to see him, but Li Qinzi informed him that he had already left the sect as a pure being. The supreme elder had gone out to seek opportunities after failing to advance in his cultivation. Li Qingji expressed gratitude to Hanju, recognizing his role in the prosperity of the sect. He then asked Hanju who he thought would be suitable to lead the sect after his eventual departure. Hanzhou pondered over disciples with promising talents such as Sun Qiangang and Murong Qi, but made it clear that his pursuit of immortality was his main priority. He stated that if he ever decided to leave, none of the disciples could stop him. Li Qingji accepted this position calmly, understanding Hanju's focus on his spiritual journey. Murong Qi and Sun Changgan were chosen mainly because of their talent. Compared to the other disciples of the Jadapura sect, few have abilities comparable to theirs. Yang Tiandong was unstable and Su Qi had no management skills, so I never discussed this with you. Sect leader, you had your eye on my disciples from the beginning. He continued explaining that they were already prepared for Hanju's departure. As the temple was too small for someone of his spiritual stature, and the limited spiritual energy of the Great Devourer was also a factor. Li Kingsley expressed understanding for Hanju's desire to sever ties with karma and follow her own path. Hanju thanked him for his understanding, and suggested that Murong Qi would be a great choice to train under. He then asked about the longevity of his master, the fairy Sichuan. Li Qinzi assured him that she was fine and would live for a few more centuries. After discussing spiritual matters for a while, Li Qinzi took his leave. Hanju made a silent promise to support the sect, Pure Jade, if their destinies crossed again in the next life. 7 years passed, and the heaven-earth grass finally developed spiritual intelligence. Hanju took the opportunity to check his messages, discovering that Yang Tiandong, Zofan, and Mafushu had been seriously injured by a demon king. Although hesitant, Hanzhou did not act immediately. At this moment, he was at the 6th level of the Union Realm, and was saddened to hear of the Supreme Elder's death. This led him to want to visit his master, Fairy Sichuan. As he approached the door, he heard her voice, inviting him in. Hanju pushed the door open, and his master was already coming to meet him. Respectfully, Hanju called out to Master, Fairy Sichuan did not respond verbally, preferring the familiarity of addressing each other as fellow Taoists. Her aura was more ethereal than ever, and her beauty was purely pleasing, evoking the image of a celestial fairy. As they talked, they both shared melancholy when discussing the Supreme Elder. Hanju suggested that the spiritual energy of Jade's seclusion peak was scarce to improve Fairy Sichuan's cultivation, offering her a place in his own abode. Fairy Sichuan hesitated, but Hanju expressed his wish to not walk the path of cultivation alone in the end, hoping to follow the great Tao alongside her. Although others might interpret her words as flirting, Fairy Sichuan understood Hanju's devotion since he had become his disciple. After some hesitation, she agreed to move into Hanju's abode. While installing the fairy Shishuan, Hanju assured her that he would always be available if she needed him. At an inopportune moment, Chick approached and made an inappropriate comment, for which Hanju decided to lovingly discipline her. Meanwhile, during a previous visit, Xian Shueshi, known as Xian Qingjuan's junior sister, rescued Zhou Fan and Ma Fuzhou when Dong Guangxian challenged the great sage Green Python. When the great wise Green Python returned, it was too late to stop her. Enraged, the great sage Green Python took out her anger on Yangtze Anong, who soon planned to join forces with other demon kings to confront her. Seeking support from the great sage of primordial chaos to face the great sage Green Python, Yang Tiandong was initially met with coldness, and was advised to abandon his plans. Few demons in the 10 states and 9 dynasties are his match. Yang Tiandong patted his chest and said, "The demon king of Yensu is my adoptive father and the elder god killer of the great pure sector. From now on, he is my master as a swallower. With their support, we have a good chance of winning." The demon king was surprised upon hearing this. Since he didn't respond, Yang Tiandong explained the pros and cons. He said, "If we don't unite, we'll be in trouble. The great sage of the Green Python is aggressively expanding his territory. After you. With except reports surrounding us, if we don't act now, we'll be in trouble." The Chaos Demon King exploded upon hearing this. He said, "You're looking down on dogs." Then, the chaotic heavenly dog appeared. Years ago, he was just a chubby puppy, but now he was a strong demon king. Yang Tiandong was stunned upon seeing him. The chaotic heavenly dog was also surprised. They recognized each other and began to argue. Yang Tiandong mocked him, calling him a dog. The chaotic heavenly dog was furious. "I am now the great sage of the primordial chaos." Yang Tiandong felt ashamed that he had left his ascetic lifestyle behind since becoming a demon king. He proposed an alliance to overthrow the Green Python Great Sage, offering 100% of the territory to himself and 30% to the chaotic heavenly dog. After much persuasion, the chaotic heavenly dog agreed. 8 years later, Murongqi was the pride of the pure jade sector, dominating with his strength of the golden core realm. One day, it was learned that Zofen and Mefuzil had returned. Murongqi asked where they were and found out that they were cultivating ascetically in the mountain. Murongqi sighed in relief. "It's fine," he said. Zhoufang commented, "We're finally back. The pure jade sector has changed a lot, and the spiritual energy is denser than ever. I'm curious to know how Maju is doing." While Mefuzil was worried about his sister, Zofen was eager to see Hanju. "I want to see how powerful Hanju has become this time," he said. Mefuzil tried to dissuade him. "Forget it, the pure jade sector even welcomed the blood flame heavenly gate recently. Hanju is probably stronger than you," Zofen stubbornly replied. "I believe the blood flame heavenly gate is stronger than you. Angel is probably stronger than you too." The blood flame heavenly gate sought refuge in the pure jade sector due to the troubles with the formless sect. Mefuzil agreed that this was true. Zolfin pointed at the disciples practicing flying swords in the sky, and sneered. Compared to the blood flame heavenly gate, the pure jade sector might not be as strong. Look at these disciples. Who still uses handrails on flying swords these days because they're afraid of heights? At this moment, Zhoufang shouted to Hanju confidently, "Brother Hanju, Zofen is here. I'll beat you until you dig your teeth into the ground." Outside the innate cave, Hanju was teaching Black Prison Chicken and Sun Chang'an the Supreme Divine Finger Sword. "Today I'll teach you the Supreme Divine Finger Sword," Hanju said. "Whether you can learn it or not depends on your fate. Watch the flow of my spiritual power. Circle it and concentrate it on the finger." Black Prison Hen said, somewhat embarrassed, "Master, I have no fingers." Hanju thought for a moment and replied. "Then, use the tip of a feather," the chicken exclaimed excitedly. "Ha, look at my ultimate chicken wing. And it successfully broke a distant rock. I did it," it shouted. Hanju praised. "Very good. It learned quickly. From now on, it will be called the ultimate tasty chicken wing." Sun Qiangang asked curiously. "Master, what kind of animal exactly is Black Prison Chicken?" Hanju replied. "With a talent like his, it doesn't matter. But he really doesn't look like a chicken." Black Prison Chicken immediately corrected. "Who is Brother Chicken? Call me Mr. Chicken. And I already said, I'm a phoenix. Do you really think I'm a chicken?" Sun Chang'an was speechless. At that moment, Hanju received a system notification, detecting the strongest person within the pure jade sector. Xian Churcher, at the 9th level of the Union Realm, the Demon Lord's junior sister. Could she be my aunt? Hanju speculated inwardly. Soon, Ma Fuchu, Zhou Fan, and Xian Xerxer arrived outside the innate cave. Zhou Fang greeted Hanju excitedly. "Long time no see, brother. You still remember me, right?" Hanju smiled. "Of course, brother Zhou, brother Mafuchu. It must not have been easy for you guys these years." Hearing this, tears flowed from Zhou Fang and Ma Fuchu's eyes. Indeed, they had been fighting on the brink of life and death for years. Zhou Fang stubbornly said, "Who said that? I have lived an exciting life these years. Traveling the world with my sword, full of adventures, and gained various opportunities." He suggested a provocative duel with Hanju, claiming that he was half a step ahead in transformation spiritualism. Sufficiently qualified, he insisted. Zhou Fang speculated that Hanju was still stuck in the spiritual transformation realm, making no breakthroughs. Hanzhou didn't want to argue and suggested that they report to the sect leader first. Zhou Fang suggested a silent duel, even offering to bring Hanzhou along for the adventure. But Black Prison Chicken couldn't take it anymore. "Who do you think you are? Just a born soul daring to challenge my master. Believe it or not, Mr. Chicken could beat you to death." Zhou Fang was unimpressed. He said to Hanju, "Your chicken is quite arrogant, Hanju." Hanju didn't care and instructed Black Prison Chicken not to hurt Zofan. Xiangxuexi and Mafuxu could see that the chicken was no ordinary bird. Shueshi was particularly curious about how strong Hanju was, given that even his chicken was formidable. Zhou Fan was surprised to find that the Black Prison Chicken was in the fused void realm. "What does this mean? Do you think I can't defeat you?" Mafuchu reminded Zofan to let it go, but Zofan couldn't hold himself back. He threw a punch at the Black Prison Chicken, expecting a reaction, but when his fist hit the chicken, it simply fell down dead. Zolfan was furious. "You should feel honored," Black Prison Chicken said disdainfully. Zhou Fang launched an even more ferocious blow, but the chicken just looked at him indifferently. "Zhou Fan, you should feel honored," he said again, before Zhou Fan was sent flying to the ground by the force of the blow. Flying into the sky, Zofan then unleashed a series of combined aerial attacks, gathering a seething spiritual energy in his knee and delivering an unstoppable kick to the chicken. Zhou Fang then kicked the chicken into the sky. Like a meteor, out of the atmosphere, the chicken felt close to the sun for the first time. "So warm, so comfortable, I want to sleep," she thought. Then, Black Prison Chicken remembered Hanju's teachings from her childhood. When fighting, assess your opponent's true level. Don't expose too much strength. Play it safe. She decided to hold on a little longer, but was shocked to see Zhou Fang use another powerful move, the Starry Sky Orb. Zhou Fang smashed the orb towards the chicken. Ma Fuchu tried to stop him too late. An explosion dispersed the clouds, enveloping the chicken in a scorching shockwave. Everyone looked up at the sky in surprise. Zolfan saw a cotton candy mass with a black back and a white belly. "Is that all you have?" he sneered. But then, the chicken revealed his true power, shooting sword energies from his feathers like a torrential rain. With the speed of the sword energy as fast as a frightened swan, Zhou Fang was unable to react in time. On the verge of life and death, he thought of Lu Yao, the love of his life. Zhou Fang was born into a family of carpenters. Lu Yao, the daughter of a landlord, was his only playmate in childhood and his love. Ever since she was little, Lu Yao had admired Zhou Fang, always rooting for him. With a rare complete and innate spiritual power, Zhou Fan was selected by the Pure Jade sector, along with Lu Yao. During his time in the foreign sector, Zhou Fan displayed exceptional talent, defeating all rivals and being quickly promoted to the internal sector. He swore to protect Lu Yao forever. "Sister Lu Yao, I will always be by your side," he promised. However, his good times did not last. After a few years, his cultivation inexplicably stagnated, which led to his ostracism in the sect. His arrogant behavior in the past has earned him many enemies. Now, in his downfall, he was constantly bullied by his fellow disciples. But Lu Yao always defended him. However, his repeated failures and evasions pushed Lu Yao further and further away. Eventually, Lu Yao accepted the marriage proposal of another man, Brother Yi of Sword Peak. For Zhou Fang, this meant the loss of his beloved. He devoted himself even more to cultivation, until he discovered that his life's spiritual treasure was damaged, impeding his progress. After repairing it, his cultivation speed increased and he regained his former glory. Determined to become the strongest in the sect and reclaim Lu Yao, Zhou Fang vowed to defeat all the disciples of the Pure Jade sect. However, his defeat by Hanja made him realize that his hopes were just illusions and his failure meant that he could never return to the sect. Zhou Fan was unable to fulfill his promise to Lu Yao, watching helplessly as she married someone else. Since then, he devoted himself to cultivation with relentless determination, constantly facing death. In every moment of despair, he thought of Liu Yao. As Han Ju said, Zhou Fan was the true protagonist of the cultivation story. With every brush with death, he found extraordinary opportunities. Finally, he inherited the tyrannical body of an ancient powerhouse. Secretly returning home, he saw Liu Yao again, now the mother of an adorable son. Zhou Fang secretly approached the child, seeing in her a reflection of her younger self. When the child revealed that his name was Little Fan, Zhou Fan realized that Liu Yao had never forgotten him. In order to not disturb their lives, he carved a totem for Little Fan. As time passed quickly for high-level cultivators, Liu Yao grew old alone, thinking of Zhou Fan. When her husband and eldest son died, Zhou Fan decided to no longer hide. He bid farewell to Liu Yao, promising to meet her again in another life. Now, awaiting death, Zhou Fang was interrupted by Han Ju, whose powerful spiritual energy neutralized the Black Prison Chicken's attack. Han Ju revealed that she had reached the Void Fusion realm, impressing Zhou Fan. Shui Shi chose not to comment, while Zhou Fang was still trying to absorb what had happened. Unbeknownst to him, Hanju's expression had turned dark. Is the Void Fusion realm really that powerful? Don't say I didn't warn you. That lady is now a cultivator of the 9th Union realm. In the Union realm, she and Zhou Fan have a deep connection. If you hurt Zhou Fan, think of the consequences. Even I might not be able to protect you. Let's review the precautions. When fighting, remember to analyze whether the enemy is stronger. Avoid facing the stronger ones after defeating the weaker ones. Understood, Master. Meanwhile, Mafuksu drags Zofan away. Kingsley acts lovingly and asks for forgiveness, eventually being forgiven. In less than a day, the news of Zolfan and Mafuksu's return spread throughout the Pure Jade sect. And their legendary experiences have become an interesting topic for younger people. Since he was defeated by a chicken, Zhou Fan became reclusive. The inner demon can only be defeated by oneself. Zhou Fan's current state was as expected by Ma Fu Chu, as he himself had been defeated by Hanju. Mafushu said that talent cannot be generalized. The conquest of Hanju, through aseptic cultivation, is just an exception. Xian Shuesher hesitated again. Should I inform them that Hanju is already in the Union Kingdom? At this moment, Maju learned of her brother's return and came running happily. Hearing his sister's voice made Mafuksu very happy. However, he was shocked to see that Maju had also reached the nascent soul realm, causing him to involuntarily admire her. How did you advance to the nascent soul realm so quickly? Maju said. Hanjo progressed quickly with aseptic cultivation, so I just followed along and learned a bit. What's so surprising about that? Isn't it normal for you to get this? Normal? Normal? You call this normal? Where is the justice in the world? Why did I have to go through hardships? Because I had to cultivate. Mafuksu's inner demon also emerged, driving him to jealousy. And so, the number of reclusive individuals in the Pure Jade sect increased from 1 to 2. On the other hand, in the Western Abyss province, there was excitement. The 100 major sects were holding a Tao discussion conference, where cultivators from all sects gathered to discuss the Tao of heaven and earth. You know, you should mingle with fellow Taoists more regularly. It's beneficial to your realm and also to the development of the 9 Dragon sect. You can't just seclude yourself, right? Sect leader Wei. Sure thing, next time. At this moment, a series of screams came from afar. What's that sound? With a bang, something flew out from afar and fell to the ground. Emerged from the dust a person, covered in wounds too terrible to look at. He was riding a gigantic demonic dog, also seriously injured. Isn't that the disciple Yang Tiandong of the reincarnation predecessor? It really was Yang Tiandong and the chaotic heavenly dog. Huang Zuantian recognized them as disciples of the reincarnation. He immediately summoned fellow Taoists from all sectors to come to his aid. Fellow Taoists, that cultivator riding the dog is an old acquaintance of mine. Would you be willing to join me in rescuing him? Why not? We were just looking for an opportunity to exchange cultivation techniques. Yang Tiandong, come after me. Yang Tiandong didn't expect that so many people would be willing to save him. Shen Guangshu Jian was the first to step forward. I want to see who dares to cause trouble here. A giant figure with dark green scales covering its body slowly approached. Yang Tiandong was the first to step in front of me. I thought I could save him, but I couldn't. Wang Zhuantian felt the newcomer's aura and knew it wasn't good. There were still those foolhardy enough to want to teach this demon a lesson. A cultivator activated a technique that claimed to be able to kill beings from the Union Realm and attacked the Great Sage Green Python. However, before his attack could materialize, the Great Sage Green Python's bone club had already struck. With a snap, the cultivator was torn apart, unable to regroup. Damn! A peak Union Realm demon, the crowd realized the danger too late. Overestimated themselves. Trash. Die. Huang Zuantian narrowly escaped back to his own compound, panting heavily. Finally back to life. I can't recklessly go out again. Nor can I save anyone. Recalling the events that had happened, he couldn't help but tremble in fear. That Great Sage Green Python was too strong. In the few years he had been running for his life, the power of the Great Sage Green Python grew, beginning to advance towards the human territories. He attacked human lands under the guise of hunting Yang Tiandong. Zun Tian couldn't help but think of Hanju, wondering if that predecessor could resist the Great Sage Green Python. Reincarnation predecessor, you must resist. At the base of the ascetic immortal mountain, Ma Zhu, Xian Zhishi, and others came to visit Hanju again. Ma Zhu, familiar with the place, warmly greeted Hanju and his disciples upon their arrival. Hanju was not surprised to see Ma Zhu, but he was surprised to see Ma Zhu dragging two colorless line drawings. The heart of the Dao damaged Zofan and Mafuju. Hanju invited them into the cave to have tea and catch up. Mafuju thanked Hanju. If it weren't for brother Hanzhou stopping Ma Zhu, she might have died early in her own adventures. Ma Fuju was a bit smarter than Zhou Fang. He quickly changed the topic, immediately asking Hanju if there was any way he could help him advance further in his cultivation. Hanju smiled. There is a way, but it is quite costly in terms of clothing. Ma Fuju unknowingly wanted to ask more, but was interrupted by a blushing Maju. Brother, stop talking. Hanju stated that the demonic technique passed down in his family had already been inherited by Maju from his ancestors. Opportunities only come once. By the way, how is Zofan? Looking at Zofan, he was so faded that not even his line drawing remained. Mafudio shook his head and smiled bitterly. His mind is usually good, and he is intelligent, so he should recover soon. When we were captured by the Great Sage Green Python last time, it was he who prompted Master Xian to appear and save us. Hearing this name, Hanju's brows instantly furrowed. Great Sage Green Python, when we were captured before, we met your disciple Yang Tiandong. He has now completely transformed into a demon. If it weren't for him accepting us as sworn brothers and secretly helping us escape, the Great Sage Green Python would have already devoured us. Hanzhou angrily slammed the table. Mafuju thought he was angry because his disciple had transformed into a demon. But in fact it was because the boy had recognized another father behind Hanju's back. Ma Fuju hurriedly explained that accepting a sworn father was a temporary measure. Later, we heard that Yang Tiandong and the Great Sage of Primordial Chaos, along with other demon kings, joined forces to surround the Great Sage Green Python. But were completely annihilated. Furious, the Great Sage Green Python ordered a hunt for Yang Xianong. The matter caused quite a stir. Hanju covered his face and remained silent. Mafuju thought he was covering his face out of grief for his disciple, not knowing that Hanju was checking the panel. The chaotic Heavenly Hound and Yang Xianong are constantly being attacked by demon beasts. The dog was seriously injured by a demon king and fell into the Nine Serenities swamp. Its fate is unknown. Yang Tiandong encountered an attack from a demon king, was seriously injured. And by accident, encountered an ancient teleportation formation. Escaping to safety, Wang Zhuantian and Shen Yingzhan were forced to flee. The two of them were killed by a demon king. The two of them were also seriously injured by a demon king. These mixed-up people were still so miserably beaten. Yan Shueshi said that the Great Sage Green Python can enter the Tribulation Crossing realm at any time. With unfathomable cultivation, and not even she could match him. Not even the 9th level of the Union Realm can defeat the Great Sage Green Python. Such a powerful demon is definitely a disaster for our human race. Fuju continued to sigh. Every time I remember the terror of the Great Sage Green Python, I am so scared that I can't sleep at night. The world outside is very dangerous, Hanju said meaningfully. Mafuho didn't immediately refuse, considering that the suggestion came from Hanzhou, aseptic cultivation. It's not impossible. I'll think about it. Although most of the Mo family's enemies had been eliminated, and the remaining forces didn't dare to disturb them, he and Zhou Fan, being demonic cultivators, it wasn't appropriate to stay in the pure Jade Sacred. As he left, Mafuju said, Zofan and I will go back first and wait until he adjusts. Next time, we'll go back together to drink. Definitely. At this moment, Xian Shui she drew her sword silently, launching a sneak attack without caring about martial honor. With a nimble movement, she brandished her sword towards Hanju instantly. The sword sliced through the air with a hissing sound, but it didn't hit anything, as Hanju had already disappeared from the spot. A blast of golden light sliced through her throat, separating her beautiful head from her body. Anju accomplished this with just one move. At the 9th level of the Union Realm, that's all he needs. It seems like I might have a chance against the Great Sage Green Python after all. But to be on the safe side, I'll first try to curse that Demon King with the Book of Misfortune. If it works and he gets hit by the Thunder Tribulation, that would save me a lot of work. At this moment, the system announced simulation ended. Time elapsed, 4 seconds. Hey, wake up. Hanju exited the system just in time to see Xian Shueshi's face close to his own. May I ask, esteemed Taoist Hanju, if you have a cultivation partner? Hanju neither denied nor confirmed. Why would the Taoist ask such a thing? He didn't mention Xiang Shueishi's relationship with Xiang Qingjun, still suspicious of her. After all, what if Xiang Qingjun was up to something? It's nothing, Xiang Shui said, shaking her head and smiling, not revealing her identity or Xiang Qingjun's. Hanju thought that she might have been sent by Xiang Qingjun to check on him. The Demon Lord's wife discovered my new love? I can't answer, I absolutely can't answer. Xian Shueshi also remembered her sister saying that her cultivation partner was in the spiritual transformation realm, while Hanju was in the Union realm. At this moment, Maju and the others called Xiangxuexi over. Let's hurry up, there's a food festival at the base of the pure jade sacred ground, with snail noodle soup to eat. Xian Shueshi bid Hanju farewell and turned to leave without harboring any warm feelings for him. Luckily, she didn't run into Xian Hongxian, Hanju thought. To this day, he still didn't understand why Xiang Qingjun chose him as a cultivation partner. The ways of fate in the cultivation world are truly strange. A demon king's cave deep in the mountains, the large and sturdy great sage green python sat on her throne, perplexed about the interference of a curse in her cultivation recently. Before her, a large cauldron of soup boiled, within which bones could be vaguely seen. If it weren't for the spirit treasure isolating it, I might have succumbed to this curse. It seems like it's time to advance to the Tribulation Crossing realm. If I delay any longer, trouble may arise. At that moment, a hawk demon reported. His Majesty Yang Tiandong has fled to the ancient Origin province. We must continue the pursuit. The great sage green python's expression darkened. Of course, even if he flees to the ends of the earth, I will hunt him down until I tear him to pieces. He attacked me along with outsiders. Even though I cared for him as if he were my own son, this gave me a perfect excuse to expand my territory. Spread my orders. Yang Tiandong is an ungrateful parasite. Our entire demon race must exterminate him on sight, and any sect that takes him in will be massacred. As he spoke, another wave of curse struck, but it was once again blocked by the treasure in his hand. It turned out that Hanjo was cursing the great sage green python again from within his cave. However, despite his numerous attempts, the system did not give Hanju any feedback, leaving him uncertain whether the curse was having any effect. It seems like I am cursing in vain. Hanjo browsed through his social circle, noticing that Yang Tiandong had only been attacked by beasts recently, with no pursuit from the great sage green python. Could it be that the old monster is hiding in order to advance? After all, I have yet to fight anyone in the realm of the crossing of the tribulation. If Yang Tiandong really has nowhere to go, he will definitely return to the jade purification. I am not sure whether he will be able to survive the curse or not. If the great sage green python follows him here, I will have to face him. Hanju took a deep breath. If we can't beat it, we probably won't be able to escape either. The only way now is to cultivate and evolve. On the other side, the great sage green python was thinking the same thing, in a hurry to cross the tribulation. Once this king enters the realm of tribulation crossing, even the life and death of that monster will be this king's territory. At this moment, within the northern province, the monster-taming demon sect had disappeared, leaving only ruins and corpses. In the ruins, a man stood there, perplexed. What happened? Is everyone dead? After the demon lord left, Su Qi found an opportunity to escape the valley. After that, Su Qi had been cultivating in seclusion, and after reaching the nascent soul realm, she found a chance to return to the demon-taming sect of monsters. But after returning to the monster-taming demon sect, those disciples who used to look down on him began to target him again. Unable to bear it any longer, Suki killed those disciples. The sect elder was furious and imprisoned him in the dungeon of the demon-taming sect. Monsters, subjecting him to torture every day. I haven't seen anyone for months. The restrictions in the dungeon have failed. It turns out everyone is dead. He suddenly thought of a possibility. Did the master act? But why didn't the master rescue me from this hellish place? Wait, with the monster-taming demon sect decimated. Doesn't that mean I can go back? I get it now. The master wants me to experience more trials on my way back. Having understood this, Suki felt enlightened and calm. He continued to wander in the ruins of the gate of the monster-taming demon sect, to see if there were any treasures left behind. If there were any survivors, he would definitely eliminate them. After all, he hated the demon monster-taming sect to the core. After a while, Suki searched a set of ruins. Damn, there really is a survivor. In the ruins, there was an old man. He was thin. His clothes dirty and disheveled, standing like a corpse in the ruins of the demon monster-taming sect. His eyes were lifeless. Are you also a disciple of the demon monster-taming sect? The old man asked tremblingly. May I ask who you are, sir? The old man sighed and said, I am Suchi. So many years have passed. I wanted to go back and take a look, but I didn't expect the entire sect to be annihilated. This is bad. Could this old man be trying to re-establish the demonic beast-taming sect? No, I have to take the initiative and kill him first. Suki couldn't stay in this terrifying place for a moment longer. As he spoke, Suki immobilized his demonic energy behind the old man, preparing to release all of his nascent soul power in a single blow. The old man continued, I used a divine ability to search for days and nights, but I couldn't find my master's corpse. I finally reached the Tribulation Crossing realm and wanted to resolve my regrets before ascending, but now there's no chance. Tribulation Crossing realm, Suki was so scared that he almost stopped breathing. The old man turned his head and stared at Suki. And you found my master's corpse? He still had no expression. A Tribulation Crossing realm cultivator could simply not help but notice that Suki had mobilized demonic energy, clearly pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. Suki was unable to contain the tenfold power he had gathered and could only release it towards the ruins in front of him. Good boy, thank you for cremating the deceased disciples of the demon sect for me. If everything is burned, how will I find my master? I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Dooku. What about you? My name is Suki. Since the last time he secluded himself to prepare to battle the great sage Green Python, Hanju had cultivated ascetically for another 7 years and had now reached the 7th level of the Union Realm. The demon sect is now in its final stages. The rooster ate and slept stupidly every day, getting fatter in an entire circle. Almost breaking the Fuzong tree, the spiritual energy produced by Sun Qiangang was even better than before, nourishing the gourd vine to the point where it had already produced earth immortal gourds. Fairy Shichuang, drawing on the spiritual energy of the immortal aseptic mountain, was about to enter spiritual transformation. At the moment, everything was developing in the direction Hanzhou had expected. He opened the system panel to see what had happened in these 7 years. Shofan's Dalhart was gradually recovering, and he began to fight and kill again. The last time they returned, Asita cultivated in the pure jade sector for a year, but still left in the end. Zhou Fang wanted to keep going out to gain experience. When I get back, I'll prepare that chicken. After all, the righteous life and the pursuit of longevity are only for a few. To boldly throw oneself into the prosperity and struggles of the human world was their ultimate destiny. When he saw what happened to Suki, even Hanju's jaw dropped. The demonic monster tamer sector had completely disappeared. Suki, oh Suki, to be able to destroy a first-level sector by yourself. I will frame your photo and offer incense to you every day. You are much more useful than my damned book of misfortunes. Just as he was thinking, a cold voice sounded from behind. Husband, I'm back. Xing Hongchuan's handsome eyebrows were furrowed. Not as happy as he used to be when he was back. Why is madam so downcast? Were you bullied outside? Xing Hongchuan's eyes instantly filled with tears. Sorry, husband, it's really too chaotic outside. I didn't bring you any treasures. Gifts and things like that don't matter. Your husband has money. As long as you come back safely, it's fine. The injuries on your back aren't getting serious, right? Who would have thought that Hanju could be so kind? Xing Hongchuan instantly blushed. Husband, you should pay more attention to the world outside. A demon called the Great Green Python Sage appeared out of nowhere, ravaging the human world under the pretense of hunting down traitorous children. Do you think he will attack our great swallow? It is said that even the eccentric enlightened one of the formless sector died at his hands. If even the formless sector cannot defeat him, it seems that this demon is truly formidable. Hanzhou didn't dare say that the eccentric enlightened one's death was his doing. Hanzhou hugged Xing Hongchuan, patting him. Don't worry, wife. He comes to attack the pure jade sector. If I can't defeat him, I'll grab you and run away. Hearing this, Xing Hongchuan's heart was instantly delighted. Am I that important in the husband's heart? Of course, the wife is the most important. Xing Hongxian smiled so widely that he couldn't close his mouth. Then I'm at ease. At ease? At ease with what? Are you sure that I'm your one and only in this life? Xing Hongxian continued to question. Of course, Hanzhou also answered with certainty. Really? Let me ask you again. Sure, what else? When I returned, I discovered an additional cave residence nearby, even more luxurious than mine. Whose cave residence do you think this is? Shit, not good. There's killing intent, Hanzhou said seriously. It's Fairy Shichuan's. I invited her to facilitate your cultivation. Ah, is it cultivation or dual cultivation? Don't talk nonsense. She's my master. Just a master-disciple relationship? Xing Hongchuan's sharp gaze could no longer be hidden. Hanzhou froze. Her mind could no longer search for an answer. Husband, I'm asking you a question. Almost all sectors hurriedly sent people to the pure jade sector to contact Li Qinzi. They knew that even if they united, they would not be able to resist the great sage of the green python. Everyone hoped to come and obtain protection there. Li Qinzi reassured the various sectors to remain calm for now. He had already sent people to various states to gather information. Even if the demon army set out now, it would take several years to reach the Great Swallow. Furthermore, the demon army would inevitably pass through just the province. The dynasty's strength far surpassed that of the Great Swallow, so it was estimated that they would be able to delay the demon army for some time. The province only because it has the most powerful experts in the Union, as long as the great Green Python Sage is not from the Tribulation Crossing realm, he will probably be trapped there. The various sector leaders, upon hearing this, immediately told the talkative Maguro to shut up. Because, according to the secret report of the Nine Dragon Sect, the great sage of the Green Python is called the Great Swallow. Cultivation had already reached the peak of the 9th level of the Union and could break through the tribulation and advance at any time. Instantly, the representatives of the various sectors fell into another deathly silence of despair. Inside the natural residence, Hanzhou was still being interrogated by his wife. Husband, do you think the feelings between master and disciple are true? Hanzhou was already speechless. This woman had been complaining for an entire month. He couldn't make her so jealous anymore. Hanzhou waved her hand. Wait, don't say it. As long as we men are in this world, it's normal to have 3 wives and 4 cousins. Hanzhou already had concubines. Look at those elders in the sector. Which one of them doesn't? The cultivation partners? Not to mention that I, Hanzhou, only have you now, so you should know your own importance. Although in the future I might also have other cultivation partners, if you let me decide who to marry as the main wife first, I will definitely choose you. Hanzhou said these words with great righteousness, not knowing if she could deceive her. Hearing this, Xing Hongxian instantly became happily excited and changed her attitude. I don't object to you having 3 wives and 4 concubines. You'd better get a few more. In the future, when you're in seclusion cultivating, I will also have companions. Then, where are you going to bring the younger sisters? I can't wait to get close to them. Hanzhou smiled and didn't dare to reply. Who knows if this woman was really trying to ensnare him. Hanzhou's conversation with the 2 shocked the 2 fat men who were listening outside. It's good to be a cultivator. If it was an ordinary family, it would be a scene of carnage. Afterwards, Xing Hongxian started to get mischievous. Husband, I've thought about it. This dual cultivation is also a form of cultivation. Come on, this time, you have to be more dedicated, be more rough. The men didn't expect an additional surprise. But they heard Hanzhou's voice coming from inside the cave residence. Supreme Finger Divine Sword. With a bang, a sword energy pierced through the wall, startling the 2 outside, their onlookers. How dare you snoop on your master's walls? After cultivating for a month, Xing Hongxian left the cave. Husband, I'm leaving first. Cultivate well. Hanzhou's face was drawn, and he didn't make a sound. That great green python sage is coming aggressively. I need to advance to the 8th level of the Union realm as soon as possible. But first, I need to make up for what I've lost. From that moment on, Hanzhou began to cultivate in seclusion. In the blink of an eye, another 3 years passed. Hanzhou was awakened by a voice. The voice of a girl calling out to her master. Other than him, where did the woman in the cave come from? Hanju picked up his sword and went to the side of the pool, discovering that the voice was coming from the heaven-earth grass. Upon seeing Hanju, the Saltera grass excitedly called out to its master. "What being dares to transform into a spirit and seduce me in the form of a woman?" Hanjo pointed his sword at the heaven-earth grass. In the ruins of the formless sector, 3 figures stood silently. Chofan, Mafuchu, and Xianxuexu had traveled here, sighing that even the once mighty formless sector could not escape the fate of sector annihilation. Looking outside, countless demons covered the sky at the peak of the mountain. An extremely shocking scene. Chauvan frowned. Why are the Green Serpent Great Sage's demon soldiers multiplying so rapidly? The demon race has always been dominated by the human race. Now, with the Green Serpent Great Sage emerging as a hope, they are emerging in large numbers. After leaving the Great Swallow, no matter where they go, they find themselves surrounded by demon soldiers of the Great Sage of the Green Serpent, as if all the demons in the world had gathered there. In the distance, a vast demonic army forms an immense circle, as if they were protecting something. It is the Great Green Serpent Sage himself who is about to face the tribulation. If he successfully passes the Thunder Tribulation, he will be the only expert of the Tribulation Crossing realm of the demon race. Reaching the Tribulation Crossing realm allows one to ascend to a higher realm, and there are very few experts of this level in the world. In the blink of an eye, another 7 years had passed. Hanju woke up again from seclusion, only feeling that her eyes were shrouded in mist. As my cave dwellers were also covered in mist, however, it wasn't mist, but abundant spiritual energy. Hanju probed around and discovered that the source of the spiritual energy came from the heaven-earth grass. This little thing hadn't grown much yet, but it had already started generating spiritual energy. No wonder it has the potential of an immortal. Its spiritual intelligence had just been born not long ago, and it can already generate spiritual energy. Furthermore, his wealth far surpasses that of Sun Chang'an, as he can communicate with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Hanju pondered about imparting some cultivation techniques to heaven-earth grass. If he did so, she might become a great force in the future. However, he also considered the possibility that heaven-earth grass might attract him in the future, and decided to leave some contingencies. Thus, he pretended to pet her while secretly placing the supreme seal of the 6 paths on her. Deciding to teach her a cultivation technique, Hanju was faced with the difficult choice between several options in his storage ring. In the end, he chose the Jade Purity art, characteristic of the Jade Puri sect, and perfected by the true person of the 9 cauldrons. He instructed Heaven-Earth Grass to study and cultivate the technique well, and to motivate her, he decided to accompany her. Furthermore, he took out the Book of Misfortune. Hanju believed in leading by example and emphasized the importance of studying and progressing every day. Meanwhile, the curse spread through the cave dwellers, even reaching a place shrouded in clouds and storms. There, the great sage Green Python faced his own tribulation, bravely resisting under the heavenly lightning. Despite his resistance, the strength of the curse interfered, changing the nature of the heavenly tribulation. With his magical artifact, a golden bone staff, the great sage Green Python absorbed the power of the lightning, making it easier for him to cross the tribulation. Determined to discover the source of the curse, he activated his deduction technique, but was overcome by the power of the curse. As she fought, the great sage Green Python vowed to find and punish the one who cursed her. Even when faced with challenges, she continued to resist with the help of her magical artifact, braving the tumultuous waves of the heavenly tribulation. Then, the voice of the great sage Green Python resounded. Thunder tribulation, break. The destructive power completely enveloped her. When the dust settled, her figure emerged again. She had successfully crossed the tribulation, officially entering the realm of tribulation crossing. A terrifying demonic energy devastated the landscape, shaking mountains and earth. The little eagle demon quickly spread the good news throughout the demon army, proclaiming the supremacy of the great sage Green Python. From that moment on, she considered herself the true leader of the demons. The demonic armies have been ordered to mercilessly attack the human race, causing destruction and death in their relentless march for the next 10 years. The human cultivators were defeated, and the common folk became easy prey for the demons. Meanwhile, a golden light flashed rapidly, indicating that the master had broken through again. Hanju and his disciples cultivated diligently for 6 years. Sun Chang'an, worried about his disciple Moranti, planned to visit him. Anju warned him of the dangers. As they discussed, Chick expressed concern for the puppy, who had been away for too long. Hanju reassured them, but the conversation soon turned to the impending threat of the great sage Green Python. Li Qingzi suggested fleeing, but Han Ju interrupted, wondering if the great sage green python would come directly to kill them. Before Li Qingzi could continue, Han Ju interrupted, showing his determination to face the situation head-on. But Han Ju felt insecure in the face of the number of demon kings on the enemy side. He questioned why the human cultivation world did not unite, considering the shared destiny of humanity. However, Li Qingji expressed helplessness, explaining that there was currently no great cultivator at the Tribulation Crossing realm among the 9 dynasties in the 10 provinces to lead. Hanzhou was surprised to hear that not even a great cultivator was available, reflecting on the weakness of the human race. Li Qingzi shared a rumor that a great cultivator at the Tribulation Crossing realm had appeared in the ancient Origin province, but was defeated by the great sage green python. Now, all the provinces were trembling in fear, and many sects were moving due to the terror caused by the great sage green python, the most powerful in the history of the demon race. Unju realized that with the arrival of this demonic sage, the human race's human sea tactic would no longer be effective. To face this threat, Han Ju stated that they did not need to flee. Although this surprised those present, he was confident they could handle the situation. However, Li Kingsley was dubious and suggested seeking refuge with the ancestor, while Han Ju pondered the possibility of avoiding the demonic army. At that moment, a long-lost system message arrived, offering 2 options. Flee with the pure jade sect or wait for the great sage green python and receive a spirit stone from that celestial. Li Qingzi realized that there was no way to avoid the demons and that battle was inevitable no matter where they went. Decided to fight and called all the disciples to stay in the sect and prepare for the imminent clash. Han Ju agreed, determined to protect his sect and prevent chaos when the demonic army arrived. Elder Han always looks confident. Never go into battle unprepared. I will follow your instructions and give the necessary orders. Now we just need to wait. When the time comes, let us first defeat the great and wise python that invaded, and the other demons will be scared. Hanju only cares about the survival of the pure jade sect. He doesn't care about the fate of other sects. For him, the world can even be destroyed, as long as his own group survives. Angel doesn't want to be a hero. He believes that the great sage green python cannot destroy all of humanity. He has encountered powerful cultivators before. At this time, he receives a reward from the system, the celestial Tao Spirit Stone, a mysterious and powerful object. His disciples are confused when they see their master pull out a brick out of nowhere. They wonder if he will use the brick to fight the great sage green python. The celestial Tao Spirit Stone can enhance magical weapons, but Ranju doesn't know which weapon to use. He decides to integrate it into his sword of primal judgment, but the system won't allow it. It seems that the sword cannot be enhanced by this special stone. Hanju decides to keep the celestial Tao Spirit Stone. He understands that a simple brick won't solve his problems. He plans to reflect on his fighting style again. Meanwhile, he wondered if anyone was still waiting for him at the river of the sword path. As he immersed himself in his thoughts, the sky showed signs of someone comprehending the ancient way of the sword. Hanju's consciousness immersed itself in the river of the sword path, unsure of how many steps he could take that day. Just as he was about to advance, a figure appeared. "Why you again?" the figure asked furiously. Hanju was speechless. This guy is insistent, he thought. Suppressing his irritation, he pleaded. "Sir, you face a mortal enemy. Please let me take one more step, just one." Impatiently, the figure replied. "Have you already comprehended the divine Tai and the sword in the heavenly Tao, whom you cannot defeat in the mortal world unless there is a great difference in realms?" Ju took a deep breath. "My opponent far surpasses my realm," he admitted. "I had planned to thank him after my ascension, but now it seems I may die on the path of cultivation." After a pause, the figure said, "Then go ahead, but know the consequences." With that, he walked away, and Hanju stepped forward, determined to face the challenge. As he advanced, he felt an intense pressure, as if he were carrying an enormous weight. "Is this the power beyond Fei?" he thought, struggling to continue. Despite the pain, he persisted, knowing he could not stop. The figure watched silently as Hanju advanced with difficulty. When Hanju barely managed to take 3 steps, he felt a hand gently pushing his chest, and his consciousness fell from the river of the sword path. "If there is a next time, I won't save you again," the figure coldly snorted. Upon returning to his physical form, Hanzhou quickly recovered and began a mock test against Xian Zishi. As he took another 3 steps forward, he felt that his understanding of the extermination of the 3 pure worlds had been significantly enhanced. Hanzhou wielded his sword and countless blade shadows converged toward Xianzishi. Before his mock opponent could react, he was completely annihilated, body and soul. The system issued a warning. Mock battle ended. Time, 2 seconds. Hanzhou smiled in satisfaction. An instant strike, faster and more effective this time, he thought, even with more confidence in his ability to kill the great sage green python. Instantly, Hanzhou did not let his guard down. He continued to cast curses using the Book of Misfortune. Meanwhile, not far from the Pure Jade sect, an injured man, Yang Tiandong, fled towards the Great Swallowing territory through a teleportation formation. His mind was worried about Dog, who had failed to escape with him. He feared explaining his failure to his master. The incarnation of the great sage green python had been relentlessly following Yangtze Anong since his tribulation crossing, constantly threatening him. When Yang Tiandong found himself in a familiar place, he hesitated. Whether to return to the Pure Jade sect or not, he worried about implicating Hanzhou, as his presence might invite trouble. He recalled his alliance with over 300 demon kings to defeat the great sage green python. But it all resulted in failure and death for his allies. Feeling helpless, Yang Qiandong pondered his role and responsibilities. Just as he was about to give up and leave, he heard the voice of the master, who questioned him about his reluctance to return home. Yang Tiandong, moved, acknowledged his mistake and knelt down, regretting his past disobedience. The master reprimanded him, but also welcomed him back, showing that he still cared. Yang Tiandong regretted his impulsive actions and realized the wisdom of the master's words, and went down the mountain, kowtowing for 5 years and repeating 1,000 times a day that he was wrong. This scene was observed by the bird demons who chased him. Upon entering the territory of the Pure Jade clan, Hanzhou was alerted by the system to the presence of 2 demons in the Born Soul realm, indicating the proximity of the Green Python army. As the Pure Jade clan prepared for the impending battle, Hanzhou continued to cultivate as usual despite the commotion around him. The disciples returned, including Murongqi, who was surprised to see Yang Tiandong performing his bows. Cheek and Sun Chang'an, upon seeing Yang Tiandong's situation, couldn't help but sneer a little. Yang Tiandong, for his part, barely recognized Tiki due to his physical transformation. During the day, Yang Tiandong admitted his mistakes, but at night he joined Cheek and Sun Tiangang to have fun. He was impressed by Sun Qiangang and Murongqi's progress in their cultivation. Sun Chang'an explained that the Pure Jade clan's spiritual power was superior, making it unnecessary to seek risky external experiments. Yang Qiandong expressed his regret for not having contributed much to the clan and for having acknowledged too many fathers. However, he acknowledged that his experiences outside the clan were not entirely useless, as Puppy had now reached the spiritual transformation stage. Yang Tiandong swore that when Dog returned, he would definitely challenge Chick. Chick, for his part, did not bother with him and only expressed his contempt. Yang Tiandong continued to chatter, insisting that as members of the same clan, Dog would certainly hold back in a fight. Murongqi, feeling uneasy, thought of telling Yangtze Anong about Hanzhou's powerful cultivation, but Sun Chang'an discouraged him, fearing that it would hurt Yang Qiandong's heart. Meanwhile, Hanzhou listened to their conversation. Surprised to learn that Dog was still at the spiritual transformation stage, he was left speechless by the audacity of one at the soul birth stage and another at the spiritual transformation stage, plotting to confront the great sage green python. At this moment, Li Qinzi came with bad news. The great sage green python had brought her demonic army to kill and devour. With Yang Qiandong as the target, Li Qinzi recommended that Hanzhou protect Yang Qiandong, remembering his past merits. Hanzhou agreed, knowing that expelling him would be impossible and would discourage the others. He ordered all entrances to be sealed and prepared a jade tablet to escape if necessary. With the Insu Demon King's territory frozen and snowy, the great sage green python, exuding pressure, stared at the Demon King of Insu at his feet, laughing horribly. Do you surrender or not? The Demon King of Insu, in human form and extremely battered, stubbornly refused to surrender before the great sage green python, calling him Maripito. Faced with imminent death, he only asked that his family not be implicated, especially his 3 wives. But the great sage green python scorned the offer. However, when the great sage green python tried to attack, he missed the blow, thwarted by a curse. The Demon King of Insu, realizing that he was also targeted by an immortal, decided to submit to save his life, believing that the immortal would not let him live for long anyway. The great sage Green Python then made a shocking revelation to the demon king of Su. His adopted son, Yang Tiandong, was among his enemies. In a cruel act, the great sage Green Python crushed the Su demon king's head, revealing his true allegiance. Reawakened the Yen Su demon king's primordial spirit and ordered his subordinates to attack the pure Jade clan. Meanwhile, Yang Tiandong, still bowing, was startled by the sound of thunder and the rolling dark clouds. He realized that demonic energy was approaching, devouring everything in its path. The great sage Green Python, upon finding him there, vowed to exterminate everyone present, determined to hunt down Yangtze Enong to the end. The great sage Green Python is here. Her army finally advanced towards the pure Jade clan, activating their protective formations in the mountains. Before the demonic army even arrived, the demonic energy came like a wave, threatening to flood the clan. Li Qinzi asked Xiao Yao and Lu Bumi if they could face the great sage Green Python, but they felt incapable. The god-slaying elder told them to wait a little longer, while Yang Tiandong warned them about the arrival of the great sage Green Python. Hanju tried to remain calm, confident in his ability to face the situation. Meanwhile, the great sage Green Python was about to attack. But Hanju, using her simulation judgment, could not locate her. Meanwhile, countless demons prepared to attack the pure Jade clan, despite the efforts of the clan's protective formation. Li Qingzi led the elders in resisting, but the voice of the great sage Green Python echoed, bringing despair. She broke through the protective formation, injuring everyone. Sichuan showed despair as it realized the fragility of the front line. The primordial spirits were with Hanju, but his survival was uncertain. Meanwhile, the great sage Green Python was searching for Yang Tiandong. When she finally found him, she challenged him to escape again. "This little group won't save you." Yang Tiandong was confused, as if he knew what was coming. Hanju took out his sword and pointed it at where he felt the great sage Green Python's spiritual presence. "All of you, retreat. The system didn't detect it, but its presence found us. The Tribulation Crossing realm is stronger than we thought. It's blocking our direction. Let's approach slowly." Hanzhou planned to attack when the great sage Green Python was distracted. At this moment, the great sage Green Python also noticed Hanzhou. Only at the 9th level of Foundation establishment, and yet with so many treasures, what a weak clan. His gaze fell on Tick. What a fat chicken. Her ability isn't bad, she could be a good concubine. Then, he noticed the Fusong tree. How is this possible? A divine tree here? He was shocked as he remembered his master mentioning the tree. "If I offer it, perhaps I will gain favor with my master." With that, the great sage Green Python revealed its true form, impressive and divine. The members of the pure Jade clan could only pray silently. Anju activated her power, and prepared a barrage of attacks against the great sage Green Python. Time seemed to stop as everyone watched intently. Ranjo was still trying to locate the great Green Python sage through the system, when suddenly, she laughed. Feel the power of this sage, and with a leap, an overwhelming pressure descended from the heavens, shaking even the mountains. Finally, the system sent a notification. Great Sage Green Python, first layer of the Tribulation Crossing realm. New advanced demon saint of the demon race, Han Ju immediately prepared for combat. With a quick movement, he wielded his sword and a wave of energy almost knocked them both away. Han Ju's eyes were firm, focused on the great sage Green Python, and in an instant, a barrage of sword images were released, all aiming towards her. The great sage Green Python, surprised, used armor to defend herself. But the swords were relentless, breaking through her defense and casting a brilliant light across the sky. The great sage Green Python was completely defeated by the barrage of swords, with no chance of reincarnation. Everyone watched in shock. Hanju held the sword of primordial judgment, cold and determined. It's not over yet. The dust settled, revealing half of the great sage Green Python's body swaying in the wind, devoid of demonic energy. The demons, surprised, instantly collapsed. The pure Jade clan hit a powerful warrior. How could the great sage Green Python be defeated? The fearful demons fled. Ranju's voice resounded. "Do you want to harm my clan and my race and get away with it?" With a swing of the sword, marks appeared on the demons. Burning them, Hanju pointed her sword at the sky, the images of swords finishing off the demons. The bodies pierced, the sky filled with flowers of blood, beautiful without the threat of the great Green Python sage. The Ensu Demon King, who was left in spirit, was afraid of being eliminated. He saw the weakness of the Tribulation Crossing Realm Demon Lord. The curse that plagued the great sage Green Python actually came from an immortal in the Pure Jade clan, now dead. Hanju received a notification. You have killed a being from the Tribulation Crossing realm for the first time and obtained a Heaven Talon Spirit Stone. Hanju frowned, while Cheek and the others admired his strength. Yang Qiandong knew how powerful the great sage Green Python was, making his defeat even more impressive. Deep in his heart, the true invincible force was the great sage Green Serpent. This demon saint, who had instilled endless despair and fear in Yang Qiandong, was quickly defeated by his master. A mix of emotions flooded Yang Qiandong's heart, finally transforming into deep remorse. The most powerful person had always been by his side, but he was obsessed with illusory power all over the world. Yang Qiandong smiled bitterly, avoiding even looking at Hanju. As Hanju passed by, he coldly questioned. Why are you still standing, having just knelt today? Yang Qiandong turned around and knelt before Hanju, kowtowing 3 times. Then, he hurriedly descended the mountain. Yes, master. From now on, if you dare to leave again without my consent, our bond of master and disciple will be severed. I will no longer interfere in your life or death. At the base of the mountain, the disciples of the Pure Jade sect were cleaning up the battlefield. After today's clash, the god-killing elder once again ascended to the altar in the hearts of the sect's cultivators. Hanju walked towards the great sage Green Snake's magic bone staff. Not even his last move could destroy it. What could the origin of this artifact be? It was capable of blocking the curse of the Book of Misfortune. Its quality probably surpassed that of the Book of Misfortune itself. Hanju reached out to touch it and carefully probed its spiritual essence. Unexpectedly, there was a space within the bone staff, with another aura. At this moment, the remnant soul awakened, shouting angrily, "What are you doing?" Hanju retreated in fright, deciding to destroy the staff directly. He used the soul absorption of the 6 paths to absorb the remnant soul. The bone staff shrank. Hanju recognized that pressure, similar to the one he had felt on the path to the Sword River. A notification arrived from the system. The Extinction Taoist is now hostile towards you for eliminating his demonic pet and the remnant soul in the forest. Hanju felt worried, knowing that the Taoist would become a problem once he ascended. He pondered whether to face him after reaching a higher cultivation level. The idea that the upper realm, with all its power, could not interfere with the mortal world brought Hanju some relief. He wondered if this had been negotiated, or if it was an inherent restriction of the ascension process. However, he recognized that ascending prematurely would bring trouble, considering that most of his enemies resided in the upper realm. If it can be delayed, then delay it. Let's see what you can do to me then. The Western Abyss province had also suffered from the devastation of the Great Serpent Sage. But the true martial sect luckily escaped. Mainly because the Great Green Serpent Sage didn't have time to deal with them before he was lured away by Yang Tian. The high-ranking figures of the true martial sect gathered in a large hall. Everyone was shocked upon hearing the news of the Great Green Serpent Sage's death. Everyone smiled bitterly. Wang Jihao stood beside Shengguan Shoujian. He had now become a core disciple of the true martial sect. Everyone looked at Shengguan Shoujian. One of the elders asked, "Is the Pure Jade sect really that powerful?" Shengguan Shoujian smiled bitterly. "To be honest, I went to challenge the god-slaying elder of the Pure Jade sect and was defeated by him with a sword. I was always too ashamed to mention that past event." Everyone was dumbfounded. "Then how dare he be? You are the sword. You are the greatest fighting force in the entire sect," Shengguan Shoujian said lightly. "Now it seems that being defeated by the god-slaying elder is not a dishonor, but rather my honor. After all, I survived under his sword. After this matter, the Pure Jade sect will be the sacred land of the great swallowing cultivation world. And even the sacred land of the 10 continents and 9 dynasties. Our true martial sect must establish ties with them as soon as possible." Wang Jihao said, "Disciple is willing to immediately leave for the Pure Jade sect to represent the true martial sect. And thank the Pure Jade sect on behalf of the great swallowing cultivation world. On behalf of the Western Abyss province." Shengguan Shoujian instructed, "Not only that, we also need to prepare a big gift." An elder who didn't understand asked, "Our true martial sect has also suffered heavy losses. At this time, trying to please the Pure Jade sect, how will the disciples of the sect see us?" Shengguan Shoujian glared at him and shouted, "Wake up! What are you thinking? Master, you accept the Pure Jade sect and saved the people of the world. If we don't thank them, How will the people of the world see us? You see, in the future, the pure Jade sect will definitely be the Holy Land. That cultivators from all over the world will admire. If we are slower, other sects will go first. His words made the elders ponder. When the pure Jade sect becomes powerful in the future, there will definitely be sects that will be arrogant to rely on them. So, the sooner we go, the more benefits we will obtain. Indeed, this opportunity cannot be missed. Establishing ties with the pure Jade sect will only bring many benefits. With everyone's agreement, the true martial sect decided to send Huang Jihao to the pure Jade sect immediately. On the other hand, in the Nine Dragons sect, ever since the attack of the Green Serpent Great Sage, the sect has already split internally into 4 or 5 factions. And many people have even fled. Old Huang looked at the ruins and sighed. The elders are the elders, not even the Green Serpent Great Sage is their match. Otherwise, we would have to continue taking refuge. Cultivators should originally cultivate for longevity. The so-called sect should exist only to pass on the teachings. How does the sect come to exist just for power? How is it different from a gang in the mortal world? At this time, a disciple came to report that after the elders counted, our Nine Dragons sect had reached 7,000 people at its peak. Now there are only 3,000 people left. More than 90% of the buildings have been destroyed, and the magic books and treasures have been completely looted. Locked up. Fortunately, the true Nine Dragons scripture was buried in a mechanism, and was not discovered by those demonic monsters. Old Huang sighed, seeing many years of work being destroyed so quickly. It would not be an exaggeration to say that the Nine Dragons sect no longer exists in this world. The disciple tried to comfort Old Huang, saying that as long as the root of the secret teachings remains, the Nine Dragons sect will surely be able to revive its former glory. Old Huang helplessly pondered on how to protect this inheritance, considering the other sects' interest in their secret techniques. In this delicate situation, how can we protect our inheritance? As he spoke, Wang Xuantian suddenly flew up and suspended himself in the air above the Nine Dragons sect. With a voice that echoed through the heavens and earth, he said, "All disciples and elders of the Nine Dragons sect, listen to my orders." He explained that rebuilding the sect would be crucial to its survival, and that finding a backer to develop them would be the best option. He decided that everyone should head to the pure Jade sect, offering the true Nine Dragons scripture as a congratulatory gift. Surrendering to the pure Jade sect. This decision left the disciples stunned. How could they give away their secret treasure so easily? Wang Xuantian explained that the Nine Dragons sect needed to change its way of existence in order to survive. They would maintain control over their secret techniques even after the fusion. The disciples began to discuss among themselves, considering the benefits of this decision. Wang Xuantian continued to persuade them, emphasizing the importance of protecting the inheritance, even if it means relying on the strength of others temporarily. When he mentioned that he himself did not intend to leave for the pure Jade sect, the more astute disciples realized that the sect leader had other plans. Wang Xuantian continued to persuade them, assuring them that he would find a way to continue his spiritual journey even outside the Nine Dragons sect. As he finished his words, he disappeared into the sky, leaving the sect's disciples in confusion and uncertainty. 8 years after the fall of the demon saint by the sword, the reputation of the pure Jade sect in the cultivation world had risen like the sun, radiating activity all day long. Both the righteous and demonic paths came to pay homage, and even the emperor of the Great Swallowing Dynasty came. He erected a stele and wrote a biography for the god-killing elder, revering the pure Jade sect as the national faith. From that moment on, the pure Jade sect was officially renamed the Pure Jade Sacred Sect. One day, Li Jingzi came to visit Hanju. Facing Elder Han again, he looked very restrained. In these years, the prosperity of the sect has already become the national faith, unmatched in prestige. Even the Nine Dragons sect wants to join us. I heard that it was Wei Yuan who sent them. This really left Hanju perplexed. He said, "I will find a higher mountain and reach a higher plateau." Will Old Huang give up? Furthermore, Li Jingzi had already sent a message to the Great Master, saying that in a few years he would return to take over as the sect leader again. Andrew asked Li Jingzi why, and Li Jingzi directly said that he feels that he doesn't have much time left. So he plans to cultivate wholeheartedly to fight for his own life. Although Hanju had stayed in the pure Jade sect for hundreds of years, he didn't have many acquaintances, which could be counted on one hand. Hanju told Li Jingzi, after the position of sect leader is handed over, light up the aseptic immortal mountain to cultivate. As for where you want to open your cave residence, it is up to you. Hanju's consent, Li Jin-se was extremely happy. After speaking a few more words, he left. I hope that you can also advance a little further on the path of cultivation, Hanju said. After Li Jingzi left, Hanzhou thought of Shen Yu, who had left with the Sage of the Nine Cauldrons, under the same moonlight. Shen Yu was also thinking of Hanju. The night is deep, junior brother, are you still okay? Hanju used the celestial doll to transmit sound to her for the first time. Are you there? She was overjoyed to hear her voice. Is that you? It turns out you can talk to me through the doll. Why didn't you say there was this function before? Do you know how much I missed you? In the early years, I would call out to you every day. Why didn't you answer? Could it be that you forgot about me because you have other cultivation partners? Shan Yuer fired off a barrage of questions, not giving Hanju a chance to respond. The spiritual power stored in the celestial puppet is limited. If it is used up, it will no longer be able to protect you, so it must be used sparingly. Shan Yuer was extremely touched. Suddenly, she thought of something. Can the puppet sense me? That doesn't mean I'm being watched by my junior brother every day without realizing it, Hanju said helplessly. The doll's spiritual power isn't used like that. It only reacts when it detects that you're in danger. Before Hanju could finish speaking, Shan Yuer continued to expose herself. The things I did to the doll every day, weren't they all felt by you? Shan Yu was so embarrassed that she wanted to die right there. On the other side, Hanzhou was confused. Shan Yuer was embarrassed, scratching the ground. He quickly told her that the Great Master would return to the sect in a few years. He advised her to return with the Great Master at that time. Chen Yuer said that she would never do that again. Junior brother, say something. No matter how many every time Chen Yuer called out, Hanju simply didn't respond. She didn't respond anymore. Only the doll's watery eyes still looked at her. Shan Yuer said slyly, bad junior brother, you care about me, but you refuse to say it. It's good to be so cold. Xing Hongxian and Ma Zhu are probably also often neglected by junior brother. When I return, don't even think about escaping my hand. Thinking of this, Shan Yuer smiled even more radiantly. Just as Shan Yuer was basking in self-admiration, a magnetic voice came from outside the cave. And junior sister Chen Yu, there is a great opportunity. Recently, Immortal Red Dragon Island has a great expert giving a lecture. I have an invitation to enter the island. Shan Yuer gave a slight do you want to go? I can take you. The man was waving a fan with a smug look. Clearly a cultivator, but dressed like a scholar. The opportunity to attend a lecture is hard to come by. Perhaps there will be unexpected gains, Shan Yuer said coldly. Thank you for your kind intentions. Senior brother, I won't be going. Recently, I've had some insights in my cultivation. I need to ponder this carefully. Seeing that Shan Yuer had no intention of leaving, the man could only retreat in embarrassment. Then, when I find good treasures on Immortal Red Dragon Island, I will definitely bring them back for you, junior sister. Shan Yuer glared at him. There's no need to trouble senior brother. I just want to cultivate wholeheartedly. I have no need for treasures. With that said, Shan Yuer turned her head and returned to the cave residence. This man was a sycophant and couldn't understand the goddess's words at all. Senior brother is leaving first. I'll come back to see you next time. Shan Yuer cursed him inwardly for not knowing what was good for him, coming to pester me every day instead of cultivating properly. When you come back next time, I will have already returned to my handsome junior brother. Junior brother, come closer. Senior sister will soon be able to come back and cultivate with you. At this moment, in a dark cave somewhere, several figures were sitting together. A black-robed old man spoke first. The great sage Green Python has died. What do you think about this? It is said that he was killed by a sect called the Pure Jade and Great Swallowing Sect, the Pure Jade Sacred Sect, which is at its peak right now. One person looked surprised, as if he had already known about the Pure Jade Sect. The Green Python Sage was my master's demonic pet. Letting him wipe out the human race of the 10 continents and 9 dynasties was also our plan. This debt needs to be avenged. Furthermore, although many humans died, the human race did not completely collapse. We need to find another approach. A burly, bald man said in a deep voice that the great sage Green Python was too arrogant. Confidently relying on the so-called extinction magic weapon, he thought he was invincible in the world. It's good that he died. Relying solely on the demon race is not enough. To dominate the human cultivation world, we still need humans. I suggest supporting human demonic cultivators to instigate infighting among humans. A white-haired woman agreed. Dressed in red with fair skin, she looked like a female ghost, with a cold and seductive smile. She turned to someone else and said, "Demon Lord, what do you think?" The Demon Lord nodded and said, "I have no objections, but I must remind you. I went to the underworld a while ago. The demon clan there is getting impatient." Everyone was surprised. The Demon Lord continued. "You should be aware of the consequences of not completing the task of reviving the demon clan as planned." He proposed, "Leave the matter of the pure jade sect to me, and you guys take care of the other plans." The black-robed old man replied, "The background of the mysterious cultivator of the pure jade sect must be investigated. If he is not beneficial to our plan, Demon Lord, do your best to kill him." Xiangqing Jun nodded expressionlessly. "Hanju, we will finally meet." Without realizing it, a decade passed quickly. 5 years later, Hanju finally reached the 9th level of the Union Realm. To celebrate, he took out the Book of Misfortune. Red Phoenix, Mo Yilin, Taoist of Extinction, everyone had their share. None of the brothers could be left out. After the great battle, Hanju finally fused the spiritual Tao of the Heavenly Stone into the Book of Misfortune, elevating it to a top-grade spirit treasure. Hanju was overjoyed to discover that Mo Yiling's cultivation had declined due to the curse he cast. Unfortunately, nothing had changed for Red Phoenix and Taoist of Extinction. Hanzhou noticed Xing Hongchuan's update. More than 10 years ago, Xing Hongchuan's favorability had already reached 6 stars, so she could be directly defined as a cultivation partner. When it came to Mo Yilin, Hanju had yet to consider her as his cultivation partner. After all, Xing Hongchuan often gifted him treasures, while Mo Yilin occasionally caused him trouble. In Hanju's heart, Xing Hongxian was naturally more important. This woman must have been blessed by the luck of my immoral emperor's descendant. Her luck is truly amazing. Who knows what treasure she will bring back to me next time. I, Hanju, am not someone who lives off women. Hanju asked Heaven and Earth Grass what had happened during his seclusion over the years. Heaven and Earth Grass said that the sect leader came to look for Hanju this morning. It is the sect leader's 900th birthday, and he wanted to invite Hanju to give a lecture to the sect disciples at the Intercession City banquet. The Heaven and Earth Grass continued. "I guessed that you definitely wouldn't want to leave, so I directly refused." "Master, am I right?" Hanju praised with a smile. "Very well, I really don't want to go out and show my face, but directly refusing isn't really good. But congratulating the sect leader in private is better." "That's right, I'll take you guys for a walk at the intersection." Hanzhou walked out of the cave residence and found a note left by Chick at the foot of the vine. "Master, there's a big banquet in the sect recently. Seeing that you're still in seclusion, we won't wait for you." Yang Tiandong wrote, "This group of ungrateful disciples actually abandoned me and secretly went to eat the banquet first. I hope they didn't find that shop." At this time, Chick and the others had already arrived at the market at the intersection to stroll around. A store called Bite the Big Chicken. Hanju seemed to be in a hurry. Not long after, Hanju also took the Heaven and Earth Grass for a leisurely stroll. By the market, it was lively and busy here, with many disciples. Hanju also thought about whether he would meet a few more people with extraordinary talent. Just when he was thinking, the system suddenly sent a notification. Hanju thought she had met another person with innate destiny. But this notification made him sigh. Xiangqing Jun, 8th layer of the Mahayana realm. Classified as Lady of Demons. The Heaven and Earth Grass was still excitedly watching all the bustling scenes. But Hanju couldn't be happy at all. That demoness was looking at him in the tea room. There was no escaping her. Hanju planned to go there and find her, wondering how this woman came, and not in a moral body. Could it be that she found out about my affair with Shin Hongxian? I have always been very careful with my confidentiality measures. Whatever. I, a dignified 9th layer of the Union Kingdom, how can I be so cowardly? Soon, Hanju entered the tea room where Shangqin Jun was. "Demon lady, you came from far away. I failed to receive it." Shangqin Jun did not speak. Hanju thought to himself, "With yourself, it's not good. She seems to be in a bad mood." This demoness appearance was still the same as before. Not pretty, but not ugly either. In short, simple but with temperament. At this point, it definitely couldn't be hidden. After all, Xiang Zershur also knew that I was the god-slaying elder. Perhaps she had already communicated with Xiang Qingjun. After a long while of silence, Xiang Qingjun still hadn't said a word. Hanzhou started to feel uneasy inside. Could it be that she's waiting for me to confess? She was watching me. Could it be that I still have Shin Hongshan's aura on me? It shouldn't be. Xing Hongxian always cleaned up very well, every time. Suddenly, Xianqing Jun spoke. Some time ago, before she could finish, Hanju immediately interrupted her. Instead of letting her passively expose it, it was better for me to take the initiative and be frank. Miss Yen, listen to my explanation. Things are not as you think. Xiangqing Jun also suddenly released his grip. No need to explain. What's done is done. You actually dare to do this and take responsibility. You really are the man I admire. Hanju almost cried. Madam, I was wrong. Whether you want to kill me or skin me is up to you. But me and Hanju, hadn't finished confessing. Xiangqing Jun interrupted him. You killed that green python. So you killed it. With me here, no one can do anything to you. And just so Walfrey. Are you referring to the matter of the great sage green python? Xiangqing Jun took a sip of tea suspiciously. Could it be that there are other things I don't know about? Hanju hurriedly changed the subject. No, Miss Yen. Do you have any urgent business this time you came? Xiangqing Jun said coldly. I came to avenge the great sage green python. But since you were the one who killed him, then this matter will be put aside. In the future, if others ask, you cannot admit it. You cannot admit it. You cannot admit it. You cannot admit that it was you who did it. As for the real culprit, just say that he was already killed by me. Did you hear clearly? That great sage green python couldn't possibly have accomplices behind him. Could he? Xiangqing Jun continued. This demon really does have a big background, but you don't need to worry. I will stop that guy. You can cultivate with peace of mind. Hanju complained inwardly. The extinction Taoist still has connections in the mortal world, and that's a big problem. Xiangqing Jun walked to the window as he spoke and caressed Hanju's face. Since you were able to kill the green python, you should have reached the Tribulation Crossing realm. These elixirs are for those in the Tribulation Crossing realm. Take them for your use. Hanju quickly interrupted her. I actually just reached the 9th level of the Union realm. Xiangqing Jun was greatly shocked. With just the strength of the 8th level of the Union realm, you were able to kill a green python in the Tribulation Crossing realm? I know it's hard to believe, but it's true, the system has alerted. Your cultivation partner Xiangqing Jun's affection for you has increased, currently at 5 stars. Finally, Xiangqing Jun smiled, constantly in awe. I didn't expect you to be a once-in-a-millennia genius, even more suitable to be my cultivation partner. Hanju thought to herself. I narrowly escaped, but it seems not completely. Ripe? What the hell? Do you think I'm a little apple in an orchard? Hanju quickly took out the magical artifact left behind by the great sage green python, and handed it to Xiangqing Jun. This is the magical artifact left behind by the great sage green python. I guess it's not simple. Take the golden scepter of extinction. Indeed, this treasure is extraordinary, quite suitable for me to take back. And convince those people that the real culprit is dead. Xiangqing Jun took out the golden scepter. The world is about to change drastically. You just need to cultivate well. As my cultivation partner, even if it is to destroy heaven and earth, I can keep you safe. Hanju quickly asked, Miss Yen, could you tell me what the situation is with the dramatic changes in the world and who wants to avenge the green python? Xiangqing Jun stopped, looking at him sideways. This involves too many causes and effects. It's unfathomable. As for the name of the person seeking revenge, it's Luo Chima. Hanju thought to himself. Luo Chima? Wait for me. Mo Yilin. Taoist of Extinction, Vermilion Bird, Luotilma, none of you can escape. Hanju returned to his cave and directly took out the Book of Misfortune, leaving half a page specifically for Luotiama. 3 years later, Hanjo had raised his cultivation to the peak of the Union realm, preparing to advance to the Tribulation Crossing realm. He found a residence in a cave located halfway up the mountain. Li 15 had just moved in, the sect leader. Do you know of any suitable places nearby for Tribulation Crossing? Preferably a place where no one can escape. Hanju thought to himself. No one will disturb 100 miles away. According to the records of the 6 reincarnation realms technique, the duration of the heavenly tribulation in the Tribulation Crossing realm is several times longer than in the, and the power is also several times greater. If I go to the 1000 demon realm this time, I can destroy it. I must find a safe place for Tribulation Crossing. A moment and said, there is indeed a place. It is a plain east of the sacred pure jade sect, where it rains all year round and many poisonous insects and demonic beasts grow. Cultivators rarely go there. I'll take you there. The two of them quickly left the Arrow Immortal Mountain. Under the cave, Chongsher asked strangely. Why did the Grandmaster and the sect leader leave? Sheik pouted. He's obviously going to advance. Master's advancement speed in the upper realms is faster than yours in the lower realms. Aren't you guys ashamed? Murongchi pouted slightly and didn't dare to answer, but Yang Tiandong wasn't convinced. You have the nerve to talk about us? You haven't made any advancements either. Tiki shouted. My realm is higher than yours. So what? Your advancements are slow. Even if I advance slowly, I am still at a higher level than you. Tiandong was on the verge of anger, furiously beating Tiki's body. The master's subordinates were all begging to be punished. However, Shiki even enjoyed this kind of challenge. After half a day, Hanzhou and Li Qingzi arrived at a dark and humid plain. You should go back first. It will take a while for me to cross the tribulation, Hanzhou said. Li Kingsley asked if he should stay to protect him, but Han shook his head. The enemies that can interfere with my crossing the tribulation are too powerful for you to face, he explained. Hanzhou's words made sense to Li Qingzi, who said goodbye and left. With the spiritual treasures in Hanzhou's body and his own strength, it was nearly impossible for him to die during the heavenly tribulation unless he was sneakily attacked. 3 hours later, the heavenly tribulation began. The heavenly lightning of the tribulation crossing realm was truly impressive, enveloping the entire plain in thunderstorms. Hanzhou didn't care about the scene, but he forgot to take off his Taoist robe from the sacred pure jade sect, an item that could not withstand the heavenly tribulation. When the heavenly lightning descended, the Taoist robe instantly crumbled into dust. Hanzhou could only cross the tribulation naked, enduring the crazy bombardment of the heavenly lightning for an entire month. Finally, after a month, Hanzhou successfully crossed the tribulation and entered the tribulation crossing realm. The system notification informed. You have successfully crossed over to the tribulation crossing realm. You have the following choices. 1. Prepare to ascend and depart for the 3 realms by receiving a spirit treasure and a spirit stone from the so-called heaven. 2. Continue cultivating and fight for the Mahayana realm, gaining a spirit treasure and a divine ability inheritance. Hanzhou cursed inwardly, wishing she could choose new clothes instead of flying back to the aseptic immortal mountain like this. Although the tribulation crossing realm allowed ascension, Hanzhou decided to continue cultivating. The system notification confirmed her choice. Congratulations on choosing to continue cultivating and fighting for the Mahayana realm. Temporarily do not ascend. You have obtained a spirit treasure, the soft armor. An 8th grade defensive treasure of Tai, flexible and elastic, with extremely strong defense and a divine ability inheritance, the world of the sleeve. That contains the dark and bright of all things. Hanzhou was overjoyed at her new acquisition, considering it a timely help. With this, I don't need to return to Saitanu anymore. Furthermore, it is a defensive spiritual treasure of Tai. The system really understands me. The system also informed you about the ascension method. And your own luck to follow the heaven thing. And the heaven thing will help you transcend the moral world and ascend to the higher realm. The method of reincarnation. Use the power of reincarnation to follow the Tao of heaven. Hanzhou looked at his evolution on the attribute panel, which clearly indicated 109,000 years of lifespan. Hanzhou was puzzled. I've never heard of a cultivator who can live for 100,000 years. The tribulation crossing realm is already so absurd. When I reach the Mahayana realm, won't I have the same lifespan as heaven? Looking outside, the plain was charred by the heavenly lightning, full of pits and holes everywhere. The rain was so heavy that it was difficult to breathe. The rain was so heavy that it was also stopped. The heavenly tribulation not only changed the topography, but it also changed the climate here. At this moment, Hanzhou suddenly felt life. How could living beings below the tribulation crossing realm withstand the heavenly tribulation for a month? Hanzhou immediately searched with her spiritual sense and soon captured a girl. Not only was this person unharmed, even the surrounding flowers, grass, and trees were intact. This person is definitely not simple. Hanzhou blinked in front of this person, startling the pale girl. What do you intend by staying in my tribulation crossing location? Frightened by Hanzhou, the girl cried amidst the deluge of pear petals. The system suddenly sent out a notification, detected person with innate destiny. Do you want to check her background? Surely, she is not an ordinary person. Hanzhou checked the system panel, and a SSR gold card appeared in his eyes. Fang Liang, 3rd level of the energy refining realm, son of heaven and earth. Born with the luck of heaven and earth, protected by the luck of heaven and earth. Because the luck is too vast, the physical body and soul cannot bear it. Once breaking through to the gold core realm, the luck of heaven and earth will manifest. From then on, flying into the sky unstoppable. Hanzhou muttered to himself, son of heaven and earth, into a man. System, did you make a typo? You say such a cute girl is a man. Could he be a trap? Compared Fang Liang and sized him up. Fang Liang felt uncomfortable all over with his gaze and stammered. Junior had no intention of disturbing Senior's tribulation crossing. Apologies to you, Randio was speechless. This is the son of heaven and earth? Too much of a whim, he said expressionlessly. With your weak cultivation, why did you come to this place? To be honest, Junior is a cheating cultivator. I originally wanted to join the Pure Jade Sacred Sect, and happened to pass by this place. Hanju thought to himself. This person's luck is truly heaven-defying. He was trapped in the heavenly tribulation for so long, but he is fine as if nothing happened. But how this kind of personality can correspond to his identity as a son of heaven and earth, let it go. It's better to form a good connection. Hanju threw out a God Killer token and threw it in front of Fang Liang. Seeing the words, God Killer, Fang Liang was surprised. Isn't this the legendary God Killer, elder of the Pure Jade Sacred Sect? Fang Liang was about to kneel down and pay respects to the murderous elder gods, but Hanzhou threw those words and disappeared on the spot, meeting his fate. You can take this token when you enter the Pure Jade Sacred Sect. Though he was a son of heaven and earth, Hanju didn't value him very much. When Fang Lian wreaked havoc across the world, Hanju might have already become an immortal. As soon as he returned to the cave residence, a line of words appeared in front of Randall's eyes. Fang Lian has developed good feelings for you. Current favorability is 4 stars. Hanzhou thought to himself. When a person is at the bottom and receives unsolicited guidance from a powerful figure, they always tend to develop admiration. Seeing that Hanju had returned, the Heaven-Earth Grass became very excited. You're finally back. I was worried to death about not hearing from you for so long. Hanju had been away for so long, she was worried about being abandoned. How has your cultivation been recently? Hanju asked. This blade of grass had already reached the 8th level of the energy cultivation realm. Its talent was indeed somewhat strong. The Saltera grass replied. While cultivating, I always have flashes of some memories about cultivation. It seems to be a set of cultivation techniques. Hanju was not surprised. After all, the Heaven-Earth Grass had followed immortals to comprehend it. Too much memory was lost. Only a little was remembered. A speck of dust can fill the sea. A stalk of immortal grass can cut through stars. Master, do you think this might be suggesting that I should follow the path of a sword cultivator? It is very likely. You can cultivate at ease. If there is anything abnormal, please let me know at any time. The Heaven-Earth Grass felt happy. Alright, Master. Ever since the great sage Green Python passed away, cultivation is not a problem. I will cultivate at ease. From all over the world, they had come in droves. The Pure Jade Sacred Sect was very popular. At this moment, Fang Liang had also arrived at the Pure Jade Sacred Sect. Seeing so many people, Fang Liang was a little stunned. He didn't know where to find the God-slaying elder. Fortunately, the Pure Jade Sacred Sect had set up an admissions office. Fang Liang timidly stepped forward to inquire about the whereabouts of the God-slaying elder. The person responsible for receiving him was Gu Yugang. In these years, he had seen many people using the name of the God-slaying elder. They all wanted to be the disciples of the God-slaying elder. How could he accept disciples like you? Hurry up and stand in the back row. At this moment, Fang Liang took out the God-slaying token. What happened next is beyond comment. Gu Yugang instantly took Fang Liang to the ascetic immortal mountain. After all, this was a token issued by the God-slaying elder. Hanju was too lazy to pay attention to him. Yang Tiandong instantly appeared beside Fang Liang. Miss, what is your name? He asked with a smile. Fang Liang was amused by his serious appearance and replied. My name is Fang Liang. She noticed a group of elderly men looking at her in admiration. A graceful and elegant lady, Fang Liang thought. Feeling flattered by the gazes. Miss, you look as refreshing as the spring breeze, making people feel comfortable. Yang Tiandong praised. Hanju, passing by them, let out a remark. He's a man. The 4 men instantly became petrified. Master, it's too late to send him away now. We don't need men anymore. Yang Tiandong muttered. Hanju addressed Sun Chang'an. Do you still want to accept disciples? Surprised, Yang Tiandong, Black Prison Chicken, and Murong Chi waited for the answer. Sun Chang'an hesitated before asking. Master, do you want me to accept disciples again? Hanju nodded. That's right, I still need to continue cultivating. But Sun Chang'an, you are different. Your constitution is equivalent to passive cultivation. Even if you don't cultivate, you can constantly improve by yourself. You are the best choice to lead people, and this will not delay your cultivation, he explained. Murong Chi's cultivation had almost caught up to his. Are you afraid of losing face and don't dare to accept disciples? Hanju pondered over Yang Tiandong's proposal and replied unhappily, if I let you accept him, I'm afraid you will send him to other demon kings to be your grandsons. Yang Chendong immediately agreed. I won't let you accept him. Hanju then called Fang Liang over. Excited, Fang Liang thought that Hanju was going to accept him as a disciple. Yang Tiandong, however, hurried to introduce him. Don't look at this fatty being old and ugly. He is your master, he said to Fang Liang, who was a little disappointed. Hanju assured Fang Liang, with your current cultivation, if you have any questions, anyone present can easily answer them. When your cultivation improves in the future and they can't answer your questions, I will personally teach you. In my place, there is no difference between master and disciple. Fang Liang, finally at ease, immediately knelt before Sun Chenggan, calling him master. Hanju looked at the excited five, and couldn't help but sigh. He identified them. Yang Tiandong, big disciple, demon saint bloodline. Second disciple, Su Qi, the reincarnation of a dark horse. Third disciple, Sun Chang'an, reincarnation of the primordial spirit Ginseng of the upper realm. Great disciple Murong Qi, reincarnation of the divine palace's war god, revered as the divine emperor of wonderful truth. Second great disciple Fang Liang, son of heaven and earth, black prison chicken, reincarnation of the upper realm saint demon. His true form is black prison phoenix, chaotic heavenly dog, divine beast of luck. There is also the heaven-earth grass, which can become an immortal deity. Great destiny, a star formation. The championship is just around the corner. Maybe I'll light it up after they develop further, or let them light it up first and support me in the future. Hanjo shook his head and smiled, not worrying too much about the future. When they cultivate to ascend, who knows how long it will take, he instructed Sun Chanan. The art of jade purity can be passed down to him. Don't let him leave the mountain before the gold core realm. In another flash of years, 9 sages of the 9 cauldrons brought a group of disciples back and officially took charge of the pure jade sacred sect again. A girl who came with him made the hearts of the sect's disciples palpitate. Chang'an's return caused quite a stir in the pure jade sacred sect. The first thing she did upon returning was to look for her master. But no matter how she searched, Chang'an couldn't find Fairy Shichuan. Li Qinzi came to welcome the 9 sage of the 9 cauldrons. Chang'an hurriedly asked, "Sect leader, why isn't my master here?" Li Qinzi said, "He is in seclusion in Elder Han's cave residence." Chang'an instantly froze. Fairy Shichuan is in seclusion in Elder Han's cave residence? It's over, I calculated everything. But in fact, I miscalculated, my master. Chang'an carefully recalled Hanju was very indifferent to everyone. But he would often show a smile to Fairy Shichuan. Now that the two of them lived so close, it didn't mean that they were close to each other, getting along well, shoulder to shoulder, intimate and affectionate. The more Shangan thought about it, the angrier she became. She hurriedly asked the sect leader to find out the situation. Wanting to know when her master moved to the Hangzhou location, the sect leader said that it happened quite a while ago, but he was just transferring some things there. If Chang'an couldn't find the way, he could guide her. Knowing that the sect leader had also moved to the aseptic immortal mountain, she finally breathed a sigh of relief. It turned out that her master was like the sect leader, borrowing spiritual energy from there to cultivate. Chang'an thought to herself that she was thinking too much. Junior brother doesn't seem like someone who falls in love easily. Junior brother and the sect leader have an extremely good relationship. It's reasonable for them to cooperate with each other. No, the problem seems to be even greater. Chang'an immediately went to the aseptic immortal mountain. Hanzhou opened the mountain's protective formation and let Chang'an enter the cave residence. Junior brother, long time no see, Chang'an called excitedly. Hanju took a look at Chang'an's cultivation. Although she had been away for a long time, Chang'an's cultivation had improved quite quickly. Already at the 9th level of the gold core realm, but it was still a little slow. Chang'an said that her advancement speed naturally couldn't compare to junior brothers. She had no intention of discussing cultivation now and immediately asked Hanju about Fairy Shichuan. Chang'an asked solemnly, "My master has lived a reclusive life, rarely interacting with others. How did you manage to bring my master here? Did she come voluntarily or did you do something to her?" Don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. After Hanju's explanation, Chan Yuer finally dispelled her doubts. Chan Yuer talked about her experiences over the years. Hanju listened attentively, taking the opportunity to learn about the outside world. Chan Yuer said, Hanju, your choice of aseptic cultivation was the right decision. The overseas sect where the Nine Cauldron Sage resides is not harmonious. Hundreds of disciples from the pure Jade sacred sect who went along died, and the supposed opportunity ended up not existing. I survived being in seclusion the entire time, managing to return with luck. Hanju secretly felt fortunate. Fortunately, I didn't follow the Sage of the Nine Cauldrons back then. Otherwise, would have encountered endless troubles. And my cultivation level would definitely not be as high as it is now. Like this, the two chatted for a long time, until sect leader Li came to visit, informing Hanju of a banquet at Gluttonous Tower. Today, in order to welcome the Sage of the Nine Cauldrons, I wonder if Elder Hanju would honor us with his presence? Hanju didn't want to continue chatting with Shanyu, so she planned to leave with the sect leader. Hanju told Shanyuer, Master has moved here, so you don't need to reach the Jade Seclusion Peak anymore. It would be best if you also move here to Cultivate, which would be convenient for taking care of the Master. Shanyuer happily agreed. She hadn't expected Hanju to be willing to let her move in. Immediately, she felt that her status in Hanju's heart was different. But Chenyu chose a cave located between the Sichuan Baosa and the Zenhongshan, almost equidistant from both. At dusk, on a mountain path, Su Qi, carrying a sword, was advancing. With a worn and dusty appearance, heading towards the Great Swallow. For some reason, the return seemed more dangerous than the outward journey. Recently, he had encountered many demonic cultivators, each more ferocious and evil than the last. Su Qi couldn't help but glance at an old man walking on the mountaintop nearby. This person was Dooku, a great tribulation crossing realm cultivator he had encountered in the ruins of the demonic monster domain sect. Dooku followed him along the way, helping Suki kill many demonic cultivators. The demonic monster subjugation sect was destroyed, and I always feel regret. If I can't understand the desires, the knot in my heart might become a heart demon when it ignites in the future, Dooku said. Like this, he followed Su Qi, wanting to take Su Qi as his disciple, but Su Qi
already had a master, and couldn't simply accept another one.
However, Dooku wouldn't force a junior just because he was more powerful. Stop! Dooku suddenly shouted, startling Suki. Dooku appeared in front of Suki with a dark face and said, Lo Kioma, you've been eyeing my disciple. What are your intentions? Suki looked and saw a dark shadow emerge in front of her, its face indescribable, discernible like a ghost. Your disciple? Isn't this the Demon Master's disciple? Lo Kioma said. Dooku was shocked. No wonder this kid wouldn't accept me as his master. He has such a significant background. Suki was stunned upon hearing this. Since when did I become the Demon Master's disciple? Lo Kioma said coldly. If you want to ascend properly, just let him go. I'm taking this kid with me. Su Qi asked him why he was looking for him, asking if it was the Demon Master's will. Luo Kioma smiled mischievously. It is and it isn't, but I can guarantee that I will grant you a great opportunity. At that moment, Dooku frowned, unsure of what to do. Lo Kioma had been famous for many years with a cultivation. At least in the Mahayana realm, the concept of an opponent didn't really apply to him. Senior, you should leave. Thank you for your care during this time, Suki said seriously to Dooku. He could see that Dooku was afraid of Lo Kioma, and didn't adopt a strong stance, so he didn't want to make things difficult for Dooku. After much hesitation, Dooku was reluctant to leave Suki. Suki thought for a moment and said, if you really want to resolve your obsession with the demonic monster subduing sect, then go to the Great Swallow and serve the Sacred Jade sect for a while. I am originally from the Sacred Jade sect and joined the demonic monster subduing sect. Later, the Sacred Jade sect is essentially my hometown. Saying that, he handed the Sacred Jade sect token to Dooku. Dooku sighed. Having finally reached the limit of ascension, he naturally couldn't give up on a great future for the sake of a junior. What kind of logic is this? What doesn't resolving one's heart have to do with serving another person? What else do you want? The entire Sacred Jade sect is enough for you to accept disciples? Sacred Jade sect? Lo Kioma seemed to have remembered something. Wasn't it someone from the Sacred Jade sect who killed my master's demonic pet? Is it a coincidence or is it fate? Suki looked at Moon Kioma and said, take me with you. For some reason, Luo Kioma, meeting Su Qi's gaze, felt an inexplicable uneasiness. Because I feel like I'm about to have bad luck. While Hanju was peacefully cultivating in the ascetic immortal mountain, others eager for adventure were still seeking opportunities outside. At this moment, in a place overseas known as the Cape of Good Hope, Zhou Fan, Ma Fu Shu, and Xian Shui stumbled upon an ancient relic in a seaside cave. Zulfin had heard that this was the ancestral land of the three great sects nearby. After exploring, the trio did not find any opportunities, only an old ship stranded in the cave. The ship was completely black, like a black pearl emitting a faint glow in the dark cave. The ancient and decrepit ship exuded an ominous aura, with skull symbols covering its body, emitting a faint purple glow. The damp and rotten air in the cave made it uncomfortable for the trio, and the bones visible everywhere emitted an evil aura, making even Xiangxuexu, who was very experienced, feel uncomfortable. An ominous premonition made her skin crawl like static electricity, and she continuously advised caution. At the same time, Zhou Feng recognized the patterns on the ancient ship. Remembering the patterns Ma Fu Shu displayed when channeling his energy, Ma Fu Shu immediately activated his technique for comparison, and found a startling similarity. Could there be a connection? At this moment, the ancient ship suddenly activated some ancient prohibition. The pattern shone brightly, and a spell barrier rose up in the sky. Xiangxuer, sensing danger, shouted for them to quickly retreat. Unexpectedly, the prohibition condensed into several tentacles that instantly penetrated Mafuchu's arms. The pain caused Mafuchu to scream incessantly, and the ship was destroyed. Unable to resist as more tentacles formed from the spiritual power of the prohibition, drilling wildly towards Mafuchu. Zhou Fan tried to help, but was continuously attacked by the tentacles, which seemed to selectively target Zhou Fan and Xian Shui, attacking them while chasing Mafuchu like snakes after prey, and frantically drilling into her body. Mafuchu's eyes were bloodshot, overwhelmed by the influx of spiritual power as if they were about to explode. Xiangxuer grabbed the two of them, intending to quickly escape from this sinister place. She mobilized all of her spiritual power to flee towards the cave entrance with maximum speed. However, the realm of the person who set up the prohibition was certainly far beyond Xiangxuer. No matter how fast she tried to escape, the tentacles always managed to catch up to her, relentlessly piercing into Mafuchu's body. The intense pain almost caused Mafuchu to faint. Zofan wanted to help, but he couldn't intervene. And Xianxue could only focus on escaping with the two of them. Unable to go back to save Mafuchu, countless tentacles followed them, the immense force continuously pulling at Mafuchu's flesh. Eventually, the three of them's clothes couldn't withstand the tremendous force and were torn apart. Just when the three of them were about to reach the cave entrance, the tentacles dragged Mafuchu backwards. And in an instant, the cave entrance collapsed. Only Xiangxuer and Zhou Feng escaped, while Ma Fushu was trapped inside. Seeing a brother he had adventured with for 100 years face such a fate, Zhou Feng was nearly driven mad. He was so close, yet he could only watch as Ma Fushu was dragged back, unable to intervene. The entrance had already collapsed, making it incredibly difficult to return. Zhou Fan screamed to go back and save Ma Fuchu, but Xian Shuer held him tightly as she felt a group of people approaching. Her safety was now her main concern. Zhou Feng also felt the powerful auras, with three strongmen from the Union rushing towards him. Not far from them, several ancient ships were crashing through the waves, surrounded by countless demons and ugly monsters. The lead ship, shouting in an incomprehensible language, seemed to be directing the other ships and monsters towards it. Zhou Fan asked Xianxue if she could understand the strange speech, to which Xianxue replied, "I don't know, it's definitely not good. That leader might very well be the legendary Octopus Jones." At that moment, countless monsters rapidly attacked the two of them. Monstrous powerhouses filled with unity, several nascent soul realms, more than 20 golden core realms, and countless foundation establishment realm auras. Fortunately, there were no void fusion realm powerhouses among them. Xiang Shuer, with sword in hand, charged against the monstrous tide. She planned to deal with the three strongest ones by herself, leaving the rest for Zofan to deal with as best he could. As the Chanchoer moved among the monsters, a mist of blood rose, dyeing the sea red. Even facing several masters, she showed no signs of fear. On the other side, Zhou Feng was beating monsters of lower realms as if he was chopping vegetables, killing them with his punches and causing blood and bones to fly everywhere. But even a tiger cannot withstand a pack of wolves. And gradually, he too began to falter. Unfortunately, there was no communication between the two sides, making the battle a matter of life and death. As he was gradually surrounded by countless monster masters, Zofan activated his tyrannical body form. A terrifying pressure emanated from him. And his demonic transformation instilled fear in the monstrous monsters. Suddenly, a powerful explosion of spiritual power occurred. And before the monsters could clearly see Zofen, they were annihilated by his soul-shattering demonic fist. It was too late for the monsters to retreat. Zofen crushed the attacking monsters with a single blow. Afterwards, he used his demonic explosive palm. A powerful shockwave of spiritual power instantly destroying an enemy ship and all the demons and ghosts on it. The massive impact shocked the other enemy ships on the sea. The monsters might have been discussing how to escape, but in the next moment, they were exterminated by the frenzied Zofen. Driven by rage over his brother's death, Zhou Feng brutally destroyed ship after ship. However, at that moment, a powerful oppressive force arrived, specifically, the collective pressure of 5 spiritual transformation strongmen. 5 spiritual transformations against one nascent soul. Do you really think too highly of me? Zhou Feng roared like a madman at that moment. The 5 spiritual transformation strongmen acted together, each releasing a thread of true energy that instantly bound them together. Fan, as the powerhouses of the spiritual transformation realm pulled, the true energy strings tightened, and one of the demons forcibly tore off one of Zofen's arms. Like this, the strongmen brutally dismembered Zofen's physical body, as if they were tearing him in half. In his final moments, Zofen was filled with reluctance, as his story was not yet complete. On the other side, Hanju had completely mastered the 8th level of the 6 realms of reincarnation technique. Hanju had mastered a new divine ability, called the Reincarnation Gate. As the name suggests, this gate allows one to enter the 6 realms of reincarnation. It can directly throw souls into the 6 realms of reincarnation or enter the netherworld through the Reincarnation Gate. The disciples were speechless. Isn't arriving in the netherworld the same as being dead? As the disciples pondered how to use the Reincarnation Gate to die, Hanju received system notifications. His friend Ma Fu Chu wandered into an ancient forbidden land and was enveloped by sinister forces. His friend Zhou Fan was hunted by 3 sects, burned his essence blood, and developed an evil heart. When Su Qi spread bad luck and combined with his curse, Luo Chuma's lifespan was reduced by 1,000 years, an effect that will continue. His enemy, Daoist extinction, due to his curse, had decreased luck and an increased chance of encountering inner demons. What do the ominous forces refer to? Zhou Fan, a main character like him, really died? What do you expect, spreading bad luck to Luo Chuman? Is it just a coincidence? Could it be that these two met? Hanju fell into deep thought. Could it be that because of the curse of the Book of Misfortune, Luo Chuma met Su Qi? What is the most mysterious and profound cause and effect between heaven and earth? Ranju couldn't understand and decided not to think too much about it. It's better if Luo Qi or Ma just dies of bad luck to completely eliminate the possibility of him seeking revenge against me. Andrew closed the system interface to find his disciples still discussing the Reincarnation Gate. Yang Changdong patted his chest and declared, I, Yang Changdong, used to not believe in the underworld. But since Master has actually grasped a divine ability to traverse the underworld, Master, you are too much. I want to be the first to enter. Murong Qi secretly said to Sun Qiangang. Does he really want to die that much? Hanju ignored Yang Qiandong, and quickly retracted the Reincarnation Gate. Sheik asked Hanju curiously. Master, you didn't call us here just to show us a Doraemon-style magic door, did you? Hanju nodded and instructed them to find a place to sit. Today I will teach you about the Tao. If you have any questions about your cultivation, feel free to ask. Teaching the Tao, everyone was stunned upon hearing the idea of teaching the Tao. In his memory, Hanju had never done such a thing. Could it be that Master took the wrong medicine? Perhaps the sun and the great swallow appeared from the west? It must be that the tribulation passage messed with the Master's brain. Seeing the puzzled expressions on everyone's faces, Hanju explained. After reaching the tribulation passage realm, my cultivation growth rate has slowed down, so I can take some time to teach my disciples. Hearing this, everyone was overjoyed and thanked Hanju deeply. A proper lecture setup was necessary, so with a wave of his sword, Hanju prepared a cushion for each person. Sheik, who was used to being drowsy, began to doze off. This fat chicken. Keep your eyes open and listen carefully. What I'm about to say will be useful to you in the future. The lecture began. And Hanju shared his way of the sword with the disciples. Although pure sword cultivators were rare, most cultivators practiced swordsmanship. For the sword is considered the king of weapons, suited to the temperament of cultivators. What is a sword? What is the way of the sword? The tangible is called a tool. And the intangible is called the Tao. The tangible is the sword. And the intangible is the Tao. Hanju's teaching filled the entire pure jade sacred sector, resonating with all the swords in the sector. The Nine Cauldron sage also noticed this unusual phenomenon and immediately realized that a great being was preaching such a thing. Not wanting to miss this opportunity, he quickly ordered, "Spread the word immediately. Instruct all disciples to begin cultivating immediately." Instantly, everyone in the sector, from the sector leader and the elders to the smallest creatures, regardless of whether they were in the middle of using the toilet or in the middle of dual cultivation, entered a state of cultivation. After 7 days, countless lights rose into the skies, and more than half of the cultivators in the pure jade sacred sector made breakthroughs. At this moment, within the Asita Immortal Mountain, Hanju was imparting the supreme techniques of the Way of the Sword to his disciples. Piercing, agile as if striking down the 9 suns, emphasizes quick and precise strikes. Tearing, lifting, cutting, and wiping, agile as a group of majestic imperial dragons flying, focuses on unpredictable changes during a fight. Intercepting, fierce like thunder quelling its fury, emphasizes seizing the moment for a quick and decisive strike to end the battle. Finally, collect the sword. Tranquil like the river and sea turning into clear light, one must be resolute in action and calm in retraction. After the lecture, Hanju recollected the charm of the Tao, and all the disciples gained insights. Yangtze Anong clenched his fists. Resolved, I will never again harbor thoughts of leaving. I must diligently follow Master and cultivate. Listening to Master's preachings is better than venturing outside for 100 years. Hanju gave some instructions and let the disciples continue their cultivation. In times of peace, thanks to the spiritual energy of immortal Asita Mountain, everyone could focus on cultivation without the struggles and disappointments of the outside world. This was the cultivation life that Hanju longed for. Suddenly, Hanju received a system notification that greatly disturbed him. A terrifying pressure erupted from him, quickly sweeping across the entire pure jade sacred sector and making it difficult for anyone to breathe. Even the Nine Cauldron sage was shocked. However, after a moment, the terrifying pressure disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, leaving everyone dumbfounded. The always affable and peaceful god-slaying elder, why would he release such terrifying pressure? The Nine Cauldron sage wiped away his cold sweat, thankful that the pressure had quickly dissipated. That pressure contained destructive fluctuations. Ordinary matters could not possibly agitate the god-slaying elder. It must be that someone he cared about was in trouble. At that moment, on a massive altar in a mountainous area, the chaotic heavenly hound was tied up by thorny vines, its silvery white fur speckled with red patches. Demon cultivators surrounded the altar in layers, and a priest-like demon cultivator waved a magic tool as he chanted, "The auspicious moment is upon us. With the blood of a god, we summon the heart of a demon. Are you all prepared to welcome the arrival of the demon emperor?" All the demon cultivators' voices joined together, each face filled with fanaticism. What to do? Am I going to die here? The chaotic heavenly hound was so weak that it began to tremble, praying for someone to save it. Regret flooded its heart. If it were given another chance, it would never leave the Arrow Immortal Mountain. He would definitely listen to the chicken. Unfortunately, there were no second chances, and he only realized this when the demon cultivator's sword fell upon him. As the ceremony continued, the demon cultivators chanted spells together, waiting for the demon emperor to be resurrected. Soon, a strange green flame ignited on the chaotic heavenly hound's body, and a tall, black figure slowly emerged. Tears filled the demon cultivator's eyes. It's him, our hero." The demon emperor's flesh gradually reformed into a human form, as if he had stepped out of the annals of time, wearing a purple Taoist robe and a tall hat. Resembling a grim reaper from the underworld, the demon emperor cast a glance at the chaotic heavenly hound. What a rare divine beast, and one with an extraordinary destiny. It's a shame to die like this. Meanwhile, Hanju received another notification. Her divine beast, chaotic heavenly dog, had been sacrificed and had become the mount of the demon emperor of Naya. Hanju instantly became enraged. How dare they sacrifice my dog and ride it under their buttocks? Who does this demon emperor of Naya think he is? Hanju released a terrifying pressure. At that moment, he seemed to be the demon emperor himself. If you ascended to the higher realms, I might not be able to find you. But as long as you are in the mortal realm, I will not let you escape. In the mortal realm, even if you reach the heavens, you are only in the Mahayana realm. I don't believe you can resist my curse. Saying that, Hanju returned to his cave and took out the Book of Misfortune, directly writing Dainaya's name on it. Thank you for offending me. Test my limits with you. Thus, Hanju cursed him incessantly for 3 months. But since Dainaya had neither affection nor hatred for Hanju, Hanju was forced to leave Dainaya. Even after 3 months, Hanju saw no change in him. Therefore, Hanju got up and went to find Li Qingzi, thinking of gathering some information about the emperor. Naya's demon operator, Hanju's visit surprised Li Qingzi. Elder Hanju always keeps to himself. It's rare to see him like this. Li Qingzi noticed Hanju's expression. Elder Hanju, you've been overdoing it lately. 3 months of continuous cursing had taken a toll on Hanju's body, leaving him looking as if he had fought with Xing Hongxian. For 3 months, sect leader Li. Have you ever heard of someone called Naya? Sect leader Li found the name familiar. When he remembered, any demonic cultivator should know of Janaya, the legend that once unified all demonic cultivators under his rule. Hanju was puzzled. Why do you say legend? Li Kingsley explained that Janaya had long died, but his legend still circulated among demonic cultivators. It was said that he was once the emperor of the most powerful dynasty in history. After ascending the throne, he ruled diligently, ensuring peace and prosperity, and his nation was very strong. If he had not turned to evil ways later, this dynasty might have continued to this day. His dynasty was eventually destroyed by enemy states, but in his madness, he lived for 1,000 years with his demonic powers until he regained his sanity by achieving great demonic cultivation. By that time, the dynasties had changed, and his no longer existed. Enraged, he began a massacre in the mortal world, even going so far as to massacre the entire royal family of a dynasty in full view of the reigning emperor. At that time, no one in the dynasty could stand up to him, not even daring to speak his name. Although there were experts in the Mahayana realm, most chose to ascend to avoid meeting him. Those who dared to face him were all killed by him. The peerless Janaya continued to recruit demonic cultivators, waging wars, and eventually establishing a demonic dynasty to rule the world. At that time, most of the mortal world had become a paradise for demon cultivators, a place more terrifying than hell. What happened next? Hanju continued to ask. After that, he died, perished in the heavenly ascension tribulation. If he hadn't died, perhaps this world would already be owned by the demon cultivators by now. Hanju thought seriously. The system notifications were never wrong. So it seemed that Janaya had indeed been resurrected with dog's blood. After understanding the situation, Hanju stood up to leave. Li Qingzi stopped him and asked, Elder Hanju, why are you asking about this person? Could it be that the cultivators of demons are acting again? Hanju didn't want to say much, so she told him that she was just asking casually and not to worry. He was just trying to get a look. Li Qingzi realized something was wrong. The peaceful days of the sacred sector of Jadapuro were coming to an end. Cursing for 3 months with no effect. It seems I need to find a way to make Janaya notice me, but also ensure he can't find me. Hanju thought as he returned to his cave, passing by the Sichuan fairy cave. Hanzhou rarely saw her master. Fairy Sichuan was still as ethereal and distant as ever. Unchanged for 100 years, Hanju greeted her excitedly. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, teacher. It's been a long time. To his surprise, Fairy Sichuan had touched Hanzhou's head a long time ago. Fairy Sichuan touched Hanju's forehead with a snap. Hanju, with his cultivation level, from passing the tribulation to cultivating energy, it is almost impossible for you to have left this sector or be injured. Other than a setback in cultivation, I can't think of any other possibilities. Drug. The side effects of using the Book of Misfortune are very obvious and have been noticed. Although the internal injuries have healed, there is a constant lack of vitality. Is it a feeling of being exhausted? Oh, indeed it is. I knew it. There comes a day for every man. I've said before, cultivation must be balanced with rest. I've said this before. Preaching such a thing is very tiring, and you continued for 7 days. So without resting, you continued cultivating. No matter how high your cultivation is, you can't endure this. What? So this is what you wanted to say, Master? Fairy Sichuan expressed regret. During these days when you were preaching, I was traveling around the outside world. It's a pity that I missed it. Having preached for 7 days saying this, Fairy Sichuan began to rummage through her storage bag and took out a can of tea leaves. This duck poop aroma tea was found in an ancient relic. It can warm the body and increase energy, strengthen the foundation, and is perfect for you. Take it back and drink it. Opening the can, Hanju saw the tea emitting a spiritual mist. It was clearly not ordinary. It seems that Master has had quite the fruitful travels recently. Fairy Sichuan smiled lightly. It's all thanks to you holding down the fort. Allowing us elders to not only improve our luck, but also practice outside with peace of mind. Before you came to the pure jade sacred sector, it was common for elders to return empty-handed. Hanju felt a little embarrassed upon being praised by his master, but then he realized that his damned disciples were already enjoying his watermelon. After hundreds of years, you dare eat your master's watermelon? At that moment, Fairy Sichuan said lightly, I envy your disciples. Having you is their greatest fortune. I have spent my life in seclusion, and have never heard a great preacher. I missed such a rare opportunity just because I was traveling. Is this my destiny? Of course not. Master, you haven't missed anything. My preachings aren't something that needs to be announced to the world. If Master doesn't mind, we can have a one-on-one session. You can come to my cave. Or I can come to Master's cave. Fairy Sichuan smiled lightly. If it's not a bother to fellow Taoist Han, that would be acceptable. Just as the mood was getting a little subtle, a large face inconveniently appeared in front of them. Elder Hanju, there's a big problem. Actually, I had already noticed that something was wrong a while ago. I didn't expect that Elder Hanju had been monitoring the demon cultivators' movements the entire time. Don't worry, you're not fighting alone. Whether it's against the demon cultivators or the demon emperor, we of the righteous path will stand by your side without hesitation. Hanju said, I was just asking casually. Li Qingji replied, we are secretly carrying out a demonstration, a demon hunting operation. I didn't expect that Elder Hanju, without leaving home, would already know about this. You are truly profound and incomprehensible, Li Kingsley explained. In fact, we had already discovered signs of the demon cult's resurgence years ago. But investigating demon cultivators has been fraught with difficulties. We still don't understand the intentions behind the demon cult's resurgence. But, Elder Hanju, your inquiry into Kinai's past has led us to discover his true intentions. It's not just about unifying the religious beliefs of the demon cultivators. Their true intention is probably resurrection. We must eradicate them in their early stages. Otherwise, the dark history of the demon emperor's reign will repeat itself. After all, there have always been few experts in the Mahayana realm throughout history, and even fewer who can contend with them. After Li Qingzi's explanation, Hanju had already deduced that the reason why the demonic cult used Dodge as a sacrifice was mainly related to the resurrection of the demon emperor. At this time, Hanju also received a notification from the system. Kinaiha. Hatred, 3 stars. Level 3 of the Mahayana realm. The demon emperor whose demonic disciples sacrificed their divine beast, the chaotic heavenly hound, to summon Kinai'are back from the demonic abyss. While Li Qingji was still praising Hanju for his shrewd calculations, Hanju urged him to immediately round up all the outside informants, as staying out for another day would increase the danger. Saying that, Hanju headed to his cave. Now that they had a level of hatred, urgently cursing Kinaiha was the most important task. Although Kinaiha's cultivation was impaired due to his resurrection, he was not someone that the current righteous path cultivators could deal with. Only Shangqin Jun, his great wife, could completely dominate Kinaiha. However, she was also involved with the demonic path. The worry now was that if Naiha joined them, the world would once again be thrown into chaos. Li Kingsley watched Hanju leave, thinking, even if the sky falls, Elder Hanju will support him. I must stop worrying unnecessarily. Li Kingsley returned to look at Fairy Sichuan's cave. Junior sister, may I come in and talk? Fairy Sichuan coldly replied with one word. No. A dejected Li Kingsley left. Back in her cave, Hanju then immediately opened Dog's profile, upon discovering that Dog's icon was not grayed out, indicating that Dog was still alive. Now, going out to find Dog might not yield results, and even if we find him, it is not certain that we can bring him back safe and sound. As he spoke, Hanjo took out the Book of Misfortune again, as it might take effect immediately. Ji Nai Ha just wait for his end. 1 year later, it was the day for the Pure Jade Sacred Sector to select the elders again. Xiao Yao, as the elder evaluator, was selecting disciples for the examination. Excuse me, are you from the Pure Jade Sacred Sector? An elderly voice sounded behind Xiao Yao. I'm sorry to disturb you. My young friend instructed me to greet you before entering the Pure Jade Sacred Sector. Xiao Yao was startled. The person's cultivation must be significant to approach so quietly. At this moment, Xiao Yao also felt the aura of a demon cultivator coming from the visitor. A demon cultivator. Are you here to join us? The elderly man immediately waved his hand. You have greatly abandoned the path of darkness. My own sect was destroyed, so under the instruction of a young friend, I decided to seek refuge. I flee to the sacred sector of pure jade to contribute my humble efforts and resolve the last ties. Xiao Yao said that a demonic cultivator had come to offer his services. The candidate disciples immediately expressed their displeasure. Why should a demonic cultivator be allowed to compete with us? However, Xiao Yao said, the sacred jade sect embraces all under the heavens. If a demonic cultivator repents and turns to righteousness, we welcome them. Those with outstanding strength can even be accepted as honored guests and receive offerings. However, to be selected, one must start from the third level of the spiritual transformation realm. Would the elder mind demonstrating his skill? The elderly man with a hoarse voice said. Being a guest elder isn't bad. A duel might not be very friendly, so I'll just show off a bit of my skill. I apologize for any offense. With that, the elderly man instantly released his pressure, and all the candidate disciples were sent flying away and instantly fainted. Even the beasts used for assessment died en masse. In the blink of an eye, the elderly man retracted his pressure as if nothing had happened. The elderly man trembled. Was that enough? If there are no objections, I would be grateful if you could notify the Pure Jade sect. I would like to process my membership formalities today. Xiao Yao was shocked and opened his eyes. You, in the tribulation crossing realm. In the blink of an eye, a few more years passed, and Hanju, once again, celebrated his centenary. The system always had a great gift for him on such occasions. Detected that you have reached 500 years of age, taking another step in life. You have the following choices. 1. Come out of seclusion, subdue the demonic path, become renowned throughout the world, and receive a Tai spiritual treasure. Continue cultivating, stay away from worldly affairs, don't actively stir up trouble, and receive a spiritual treasure is there. Since the rewards are the same, I will follow my heart. Hanju silently chooses the second option. You chose to continue cultivating, stay away from worldly affairs, and receive a Tai spiritual treasure. Ninefold Heaven Climbing Boots. A Tai grade 6 spiritual treasure, containing the true essence of the wind. Capable of ascending the heavens in one step, reaching the 9th heaven. Not bad, a spiritual treasure that can enhance my ability to escape. The system really knows me well. He decides to give his currently used 9-star spirit climbing boots to Xing Hongxian. Eager to test the effects, Hanju immediately leaves his cave and begins flying using the power of the 9-fold sky climbing boots. With his left foot stepping on his right and his right foot stepping on his left, the earth below becomes tiny in just one step. He propels himself upwards several times, spiraling into the sky. Looking down, he sees that the mortal realm of this world is not round like the earth, but an incredibly vast continent, surrounded by countless stars shining faintly. Hanzhou takes another step, intending to delve deeper into the universe, but he unexpectedly hits an invisible barrier head-on, quite hard. Looking up, all he sees is emptiness, nothing visible. Ascending through this barrier? Is the immortal realm beyond it? Hanju throws a powerful punch, but the invisible barrier remains inert. Then he takes out his primal judgment sword, planning to attempt a powerful strike. At this moment, a voice from behind interrupts him. Don't bother. The immortal realm is not beyond this barrier. Not even an expert of the Mahayana realm can break through it. But reaching this far means you must be at least in the tribulation crossing realm. Those in the Union realm cannot ascend this far. Hanju turns around cautiously. The system notification identifies the speaker as Duko, formerly a disciple of the Monster Tamer set. Currently a wandering cultivator of the 3rd level of the Tribulation Crossing realm. Level 3 Tribulation Crossing? I really didn't expect that there would still be remnants of the Monster Tamer array. Hanju laughed in contempt. Without waiting for a response, Hanju directly used the extinction of the 3 pure worlds. Following the sound of the system notification, the battle ended in 1 second. Hanju had reached the Tribulation Crossing realm. Hanzhou could simulate battles in his mind, and in order to avoid being attacked in a moment of distraction, he adjusted the test time to 1 second. If he couldn't defeat his opponent in that time, he could simply flee. Since he could defeat him, Hanju decided to have a more in-depth talk with Dooku. Since the immortal realm isn't beyond this barrier, then where is it? Could fellow Taoist enlighten me? Dooku began to explain about the immortal realm, starting with the barrier and the stars. The stars beyond are just illusions created by the immortal's magical treasures. And the mortal world here is actually a world of the immortal realm. Hanju then asked, why haven't you ascended, fellow Uista? Doku said that he had a pact with a young friend of his from the Pure Jade sect to guard this place for 100 years to resolve his karmas before ascending. The young friend he made the pact with is called Su-Chi. Does he have any living relatives? Mentioning his relatives made Hanju's heart freeze. Why do you look for his relatives? To Hanju's surprise, Dooku bowed in sadness. It's my incompetence. Young friend has been captured by Luo Xiaoma. And I'm afraid his chances are slim now. If he has any living relatives, I thought of supporting them as a way of honoring my friend. After hearing this, Hanju no longer hides the truth. I must tell you, Su-Chi is a disciple of mine, Hanju. Dooku was shocked. Could you be the elder of the God clan that young friend mentioned? No wonder your cultivation is so high, since we are all part of the same sect. The sacred Pure Jade sect will not treat you badly. Saying that, Hanju reached into his robe and took out a divine language token. Since you have come from far away, why not become a guest elder in our sect? You won't need to go out, just focus on your cultivation. With this token, no one in the sect will dare to bother you. Dooku expressed his gratitude. That would be wonderful. I also passed the elder's assessment previously. After that, the two planned to return to the sect together. Hanju reassured Dooku with a pat on the back. Don't worry, elder. With Sushi following Luo Xiaoma, it's hard to say who will be unlucky first. On the way back, Dooku alerted Hanzhou. The 5 great powers of the demonic path have already awakened, and chaos will soon engulf the world. The Pure Jade sacred sect must prepare early. If fellow Daoist Han has thoughts of ascending, I can offer my assistance in leaving this world together. Hanju thanked Dooku for his kind offer. The conflicts in the immortal realm are probably more severe than in the mortal realm. I, Hanju, would definitely not ascend rashly without the ability to protect myself. Dooku shook his head with a smile. It seems that fellow Daoist Hanju has a long life ahead of him, and cultivation really does depend on one's natural talent. By the way, who exactly are the 5 great powers of the demonic path that you mentioned? Dooku listed them. Luo Xiaoma, the white-haired witch, the greedy demon Arate, the blood demon ancestor, and the demon lord. And what is their cultivation level? Mahayana realm or half-step Mahayana? Do we of the righteous path have no powers that can compete with them? Indeed, there are such powers. But most of them are close to ascending and don't want to show up and make enemies. As they were talking, the two of them had already returned to the sect. Hanju looked up seriously and said, I will also tell you something that currently only the sect leader knows. Dooku looked confused. Please speak freely, fellow Taoist Hanju. The demon emperor has resurrected. Elder, do you think it might be related to those 5 great powers of the demonic path? Hearing this, Dooku's face changed dramatically. The demon emperor has resurrected? This is bad. At the same time, the sect leader also learned that a guest elder from the Tribulation Crossing realm had come to the sect. He immediately ordered preparations for a luxurious cave to welcome him. Above the sea of clouds, a dark cloud of light shone in the sky. The dark cloud raced across the sky, upon which 2 figures sat meditating, one of whom was Su-Chi, Sr. Where exactly are we going? Su-Chi asked. Ever since they started following Luo Xiaoma, they had been wandering around, frequently encountering natural disasters. And accidentally entering ancient forbidden lands, which was incredibly distressing. Is that great opportunity you mention really true or not? Su-Chi asked impatiently. Luo Xiaoma replied coldly. All you do is ask. Don't you ever get tired? Without these setbacks, we would have already arrived. You're just unlucky. However, Su-Chi disagreed with this accusation. You call me unlucky, but why is it always you who ends up unlucky? Although your high cultivation level might not mind, my fragile body can't handle much more. Indeed, along the way, under the double curse of Su-Chi's bad luck and Hanju's curse, Luo Xiaoma was incredibly unlucky. Periodically, they would be struck by heavenly punishments, encounter a group of wild vines, be attacked by sharks during tornadoes in the sky. And upon entering a legendary ancient secret realm, not only would they gain nothing, but upon calling out the names of ancient powers, they would be called by the name of Su-Chi. These names of ancient powers nearly annihilated them. Although Su-Chi also suffered, her injuries were only superficial. Luo Xiaoma attributed all of their misfortunes to Su-Chi being a bad omen. Although Su-Chi didn't see it that way, considering that she had always managed to turn misfortune into fortune before. Despite the setbacks, they were finally getting closer to their destination. Luo Xiaoma pointed to a region ahead where the dark clouds and storms were thick. We're almost there. The person I'll introduce to you is the Demon Emperor. Hearing the name for the first time, Su Qi asked about the relationship between the Demon Emperor and the Demon Master. Were they brothers? Luo Axioma explained that they were just of the same demonic path. No substantial relationship. So who's stronger? Luo Xioma? It wasn't right. Just that the Demon Emperor had debuted earlier and achieved a higher status among the demons. Luo Xioma warned Su Qi to speak less upon arrival and act according to her mood. Soon, they encountered a gigantic sandworm. Luo Xioma sighed in resignation. Ah, used to it. Meanwhile, in a stone-cut royal palace, a chaotic heavenly dog lay beside a dragon throne, its neck bound by a black collar, making it look more like a guard dog. Dog stared ahead as if it had lost its soul. We finally returned. Do you know how prosperous my dynasty was back then? Chi Naiha muttered to himself. The chaotic heavenly dog did not respond, having grown accustomed to Kaine's soliloquies. In his eyes, Kaine was definitely crazy. Kaine grew more excited as he moved to recite a poem at this moment. I have shaken the foundations of 100 generations. I have wielded the long whip to rule the kingdom. I have swallowed all directions to destroy the immoral gates. I stepped on the supreme and ruled the world. I was the only one who could command the universe. I wielded the hammer and the whip to lash the world. My power shook the four seas. Before he could finish, the sound of footsteps approached. Excellent. The Demon Emperor's accomplishments will be extolled for thousands of generations. The Demon Emperor asked coldly, who's there? Dog also grumbled. Who is it, flattering a madman from so far away? I am Luthioma, having heard of your majesty's awakening. I have come to offer my services, Luthioma said with a bow and a smile. Kinai looked at him blankly. Was it you who arranged for someone to be summoned? Speak, what reward do you seek? If your majesty could once again rule the world. That would be my greatest wish, Luo Kaioma replied with a smile. What do you mean? With that, if I ascend in the future, I will certainly unite with the Demon Palace and the upper realms. Unifying the world under the Demon Path and controlling the moral realm is the mission entrusted to us by the Demon Palace in our dreams. Nai's eyes lit up. The Demon Palace of the upper realms. If I ascend, would the Demon Palace deign to guide me? If your majesty can reclaim the supreme throne, the Demon Palace will certainly assist you during the Ascension Tribulation. He was delighted by this news and quickly invited Luo Kaioma to sit down. Then, Chi Nei frowned slightly at Su Qi, asking, who would this be? The chaotic heavenly hound also noticed Suki and was shocked speechless. Isn't this my master's disciple? Luoxioma introduced him as the Demon Master's close disciple, explaining that the Demon Master was busy cultivating and had sent him to serve. Kinaya was displeased, sending only one disciple to serve me. Is this how the Demon Master treats me? Luo Taioma explained that the Demon Master has always been lonely, reclusive, and bloodthirsty. His absence might be for the best. Sending a disciple signifies his position and might help us unify the demonic path more quickly. Sudi didn't recognize dog, thinking that this dog didn't look much like a real dog. It was only then that dog remembered the last time they parted. Was still a puppy. Luo Kaioma gave Su Qi a meaningful look. This is the great opportunity mentioned. Aren't you going to pay your respects? With no choice, Sudi reluctantly paid his respects to the Demon Emperor. However, Su Qi's greeting made Jinai resent a chill run down his spine. He pointed at the chaotic heavenly dog beside him and said to Sushi, from now on, you will be responsible for taking care of my dog. Becoming a servant in charge of the dog's care, Sushi was naturally displeased, but he didn't dare express his anger. The chaotic heavenly dog, on the other hand, was secretly pleased. Could it be that Sushi was sent by the master to rescue him? That was good, at least someone familiar was by his side. Now more than ever, he needed to find an opportunity to reveal his identity to him. I need you to do something for me, Janehi said, indifferent to Luo Taioma. What is it? Go to the Great Sweep, find a sect called the Pure Jade Sect, and kill a cultivator named Hanju. Hearing this, both the chaotic heavenly dog and Sushi were shocked. Luo Taioma was stunned, again with the Pure Jade Sect. Why does the Demon Emperor also want to attack the Pure Jade Sect? Luo Kaioma, helpless river. You really aren't getting straight to the point, are you? We've just met and you're already sending me on errands. Ji Naya emphasized the importance of the matter, urging her trusted officer to leave without delay. I'll go when I have time, Luo Xioma verbally agreed, but he didn't take the big blow was too far away, and he didn't mind leaving. Plus, the Demon Lord had already taken on this task. There was no need for him to leave as well. Luo Xioma felt uncomfortable with Janai's orders, giving me tasks right after we met. I said I was willing to serve you, but that was just a polite remark. If you are just a tool and you dare to act so high and mighty with me. But what did this cultivator called Hanju do to Janae to make him join us? Janae just returned. Luo Xioma was curious about Hanju. Meanwhile, on the other side, Hanju was drinking milk tea while watching his disciples fight. After reaching the nascent soul realm, Murong-chi had always wanted to test his skills against the dark prison chicken. Yang Tiandong also stood up to join him, relying on his higher cultivation level. The dark prison chicken often bullied Yang Tiandong and the others, but since Mr. Chicken was of a higher generation, none of them dared to complain. At this moment, Hanju received a system notification. Luotiama, 4th level of the Mahayana realm, one of the 5 venerables of the demonic path. Displeased that Jaini didn't give him face. He's taken an interest in you, whom Jaini wants to kill. Current favorability is 1 star. Hanju was perplexed. What's this? Cursing you every day and now developing feelings? Hanju found this amusing. Would the 5 venerables of the demonic path and Jaini have an internal conflict? He immediately took out the Book of Misfortune, wanting to continue messing with Luo Kaioma's mind. Perhaps the irritable Luo Kaioma would end up tearing his face off with the Demon Emperor. Meanwhile, outside the Great Hall of the Pure Jade Sect, the 9 Cauldron Sage was also observing the sky, where a magic battle was unfolding. Such scenes no longer caused as much of an impact nowadays, as the number of nascent soul realm cultivators in the Pure Jade Sect was increasing, and the nascent soul realm was no longer the highest level within the Pure Jade Sect. It was precisely because of this. Ever since sect leader Li Qingzi had a lower cultivation level, many of the elders with higher cultivation levels had become arrogant, increasingly neglecting their duties within the sect. This made the 9 Cauldron Sage uneasy. He scolded the elders to return to their duties and not to waste cultivation resources by idling around all day. Clearly, he was more suited to be the sect leader than Li Qingji, especially since the 9 Boiler Sage was at the 9th level of the Void Fusion realm, very close to the Union realm, with very few in the Pure Jade sector stronger than him. The elders didn't dare show any disrespect towards him. The 9 Cauldron Sage, looking at the battle in the sky, couldn't help but exclaim, "Even the elder's demonic pet that slays gods has a cultivation that could match mine. I must hurry with my advancement, especially since the demonic sects have already started to make their move." At this moment, outside an ancient secret realm overseas, a fierce battle had just ended. Xian Chuesher and Zhou Fan had finally killed all the enemies. Over the years, Zhou Fan, in order to rescue Mi Fu Chu trapped in the secret realm, had always refused to leave with Xiang's Wexi. He firmly believed that his good brother was not dead. After clearing out the enemies, he would continue to excavate the ruins. Xian Shuexi advised him, "This reliquary is sealed from the inside, and those below the Tribulation Crossing realm cannot open it from the outside." But Zofan did not listen, persisting in his efforts day after day for years. Zhou Fan said, "Even if it is just a corpse, I want to bring Mafuta back." Xian Shueshi gave him a final deadline. They could not continue fighting with these 3 sects any longer. Perhaps it was Zofan's sincerity. But not long after, he actually found the entrance mechanism. As the mechanism was activated, Zhou Fan was thrown away by a powerful force. Xian Shueisher did not expect that Zhou Fang, with his life, would be able to save him. The cultivation level could open the mechanism. A huge wave of energy shot into the sky, but it wasn't the sinister force from before. As the energy dissipated, the entrance to the reliquary reappeared before them. Zhou Fang hurriedly entered, but was restrained by Xian Shueshi. She vaguely felt that there was something very strange about the reliquary. The reliquary was on the verge of collapse, and they proceeded very carefully. Deep within the reliquary, they finally felt the presence of a living person. It was indeed Mifuksu. He was still alive. Zhou Fang anxiously jumped next to Mi Fu Chu. Calling out to his good brother, Mi Fu Chu slowly raised his head. His eyes revealed a terrifying killing intent. Without saying a word, Mafuchu slowly stood up, while Xiang's Wexi didn't notice any trace of the demonic aura from before. Zhou Fang happily talked about the battles of the past few years, also not noticing anything strange about Mei Fu Chu. At that moment, with a sudden thrust, Mafuchu's hand pierced Zofan's chest. It was too late for Xiang's Wexi to stop it. Mafuxu's other hand grabbed Zofan's shoulder, forcefully ripping out Zofan's heart. Mafuxu stared coldly at Zofan's beating heart, as if the person in front of her was not a brother, but an enemy. Zofan was dead, and Xiangxuexi, enraged, attacked Mifuksu. This story paused here, while on the other side, Hanju also began a magic duel. His opponent was his own first wife, the Demon Lord. Hanju, using all his skills, still found it difficult to defend himself, as Xian Qinju was overwhelmingly strong. Despite losing repeatedly, he continued to fight, barely managing to last 2 to 3.5 minutes. In order to lessen the difficulty, Hanju adjusted Xiang Qingjuan's combat level to the 3rd level of the Mahayana realm. But still, he had no chance of winning. It seemed that meeting the Demon Emperor now would most likely result in death. Hanzhou, having reached the 3rd level of the Tribulation Crossing realm, found his cultivation progress significantly slower, which worried him greatly. It was then that Hanzhou received a notification from the system. What? Zofen died again? The world is full of demonic cultivators. Chaos is truly about to break out. In order to improve his cultivation as quickly as possible, Hanju secluded himself for 3 years. The first thing he did after coming out of seclusion was to visit his master and senior sister, planning to upgrade his celestial puppets. It was then that Sun Chang'an came to Hanzhou in a hurry. Master, you have finally come out of seclusion. Sun Chang'an was usually calm, so Hanju asked what was wrong. Sun Chang'an said it was about Fang Liang. During the 3 years of his seclusion, Fang Liang's cultivation had been stuck at the 9th level of the established foundation realm. Even using elixirs, it did not lead to any progress. Master, you said 3 years ago that all he needed to do was diligently practice cultivation, but now it seems that his talent has truly reached its limit. Hanju then remembered that the reason why Fang Liang was unable to advance might be related to his background. The so-called drawing of heaven and earth, manifesting once breaking through to the golden core realm, isn't that simple after all. At that moment, Hanju called Fang Liang to the innate cave abode. Fang Liang was very nervous. Will Master expel me from the sect? Sun Chang'an comforted him. With Master's personal intervention, there shouldn't be a big problem. Hanju arranged for Sun Chang'an to leave for Chang'an, Sichuan Fairy Caves, to bring them along and also bring the celestial doll. Watching Fang Liang follow Hanzhou to the innate cave abode, Tiki said with a sad expression, "You guys have good talents. Poor little Liang has reached the end of his cultivation. Master usually doesn't interfere too much in others' cultivation paths. In fact, rather than continuing to practice ascetic cultivation on the mountain, it might be better for him to come down from the mountain and live as a wealthy man for 100 or so years." Hearing this from Sheik, Sun Chang'an was naturally not happy. After all, Fang Lian was his disciple. He was the one who cared about him the most. But all Sun Qiangan could do was silently pray for him in his heart. I hope his master can help him get through this, especially since his fishing skills are the best in our group. Inside the innate cave abode at this moment, Hanju began to probe Fang Liang's body with 6 paths of spiritual power. Hangzhou discovered that Fang Liang had already met all the conditions to advance to the golden core stage. But there was a cluster of energy blocking his energy center, preventing him from forming the golden core. This energy, it seemed to be some sort of seal or restriction, strong enough to lock down the Union realm. If Hanju were to advance to the Tribulation Crossing realm, he probably wouldn't have discovered this, which explained why Sun Chang'an didn't know the reason. Hanju asked Fang Lian, "You've been my disciple for some time now, have you realized what the pursuit of cultivation is?" Fang Liang was extremely nervous, hesitating for a moment before answering. "To become an immortal. What's the purpose of becoming immortal? Of course, it's to have eternal life. You can't help but feel at ease. Your cultivation might not be impressive, but your ability to persevere truly embodies my teachings. Will you be hindered by power, benefits, or women on your path of cultivation in the future?" Fang Liang replied confidently. "I won't be, neither in the past nor in the future. I was an orphan and alone, and it was the Great Master who took me in. I deeply agree with the Great Master's cultivation philosophy. Everything else is inferior. Only cultivation is supreme." Hanju felt satisfied. "If I gave you a chance to fly, what would you do afterwards?" Fang Liang, overwhelmed with honor, immediately knelt down. "I would be willing to break my bones and scatter my ashes for the Great Master." "No, that's wrong. I mean, I would dedicate myself to cultivation. I would not worry about worldly matters and would never cause trouble for the Great Master." Seeing Fang Liang so sincere and scared, Hanzhou felt pleased. "That's more like it." Hanzhou immediately began to use the 6 reincarnations technique. As her master, when a master says that your talent is insufficient, then as your Great Master, I will create talent for you. Around Hanju, strands of golden light began to converge. Fang Liang, feeling the tumultuous spiritual power around him, showed a face full of surprise and reverence. What is Grandmaster's cultivation level? At this moment, Hanju received a notification from the system. Your favorability of your great disciple Fang Liang has increased, currently at 5 stars. Only 5 stars. It's not the maximum yet. I need to find a way to inspire this kid even more. Hanju directed the condensed golden light towards Fang Liang's energy center. Fang Liang felt his spiritual consciousness being pulled in instantly. When he opened his eyes again, he seemed to be in the vast great void, surrounded by countless golden lights. Then, he heard Hanju's ethereal voice. The approach to attacking the golden core realm varies from person to person. The vast majority directly gather the golden core. Very few can enter the great void with their soul, using the resonance between heaven and man to gather the core. Golden core. Even rarer are those who, through their talent, use their bodies as the seed to open a new path. Without exception, these individuals become peerless powerhouses. Liang felt his soul fiercely colliding with the great void, the energy of the great void gradually condensing before him. Bound by fate? How could my disciple be bound by fate? If so, today I am willing to sacrifice my cultivation and life expectancy to break this damn fate. Under Hanju's influence, the energy of the great void gradually condensed into a golden core. Hanju's words shocked Fang Liang. The great master was willing to sacrifice his cultivation for him? Fang Liang's eyes turned red. Fully acting out the role, Hanju shouted, "My disciple is advancing. Not even the heavens can stop him." After saying this, the energy cluster within Fang Liang was shattered by Hanju. With Hanju's help, Fang Liang's spiritual power began to uncontrollably condense into a golden core. At the same time, Hanju received another notification from the system. Your favorability of your great disciple Fang Liang has currently increased by 6 stars. Hanju was delighted, thinking that old tricks really do win hearts. Little Liang, I have removed all obstacles for you. The rest is up to you. If you consider yourself special in the future, I hope you will consider yourself ordinary, for that is the path to a long life. Don't follow in Zhou Fang's footsteps. Meanwhile, an anomaly appeared in the sky above the cave abode, with the glow of 7 colors above the pure jade sect. It shone in the sky above the pure jade sect. The fairy knew that this meant a prodigy had been born as the energy cluster dispersed. Countless true energies swept into Fang Liang's energy center like a storm. Fang Liang. It felt as if his meridians had been unblocked. His senses became clearer, and the world seemed completely different to him. It soon began to snow in the sky, golden snow. The clouds transformed into human shapes, resembling heavenly maidens scattering flowers. Surprising all the disciples of the pure jade sect, the fairy flashed, catching a snowflake. This is the golden snow of heavenly fortune bestowed. It seems that a prodigy has indeed been born. Hanju managed to do as he was commanded. Shanggan was shocked inwardly, wondering if his master had really changed little Liang's fate against the heavens. In the main hall of the pure jade sect, the 9 cauldron sage, looking at the golden snow filling the sky, exclaimed, "This is the first time I have seen such a phenomenon since I began cultivating." The elders agreed that the fortune of our sacred pure jade sect was about to increase greatly. In the sky, the clouds churned, as dragons and phoenixes played with each other. Outside the innate cave abode, Dark Prison Chick, Yang Tiandong, and others were also astonished, Chick exclaiming in wonder, "Indeed, this phoenix looks exactly like me." Inside the cave abode, Hanju looked at Fang Liang and said lightly, "Congratulations, you have reached the Golden Core Realm." After helping Fang Liang reach the Golden Core Realm, Hanju instructed him to continue his ascetic cultivation in peace and keep a low profile, warning him not to follow Zhou Fan's disastrous path due to rapid progress in the future. At the time, Fang Liang did not fully understand the meaning of Hanzhou, but he was certain that following the great master's advice could never be wrong. The next day, as he walked out of the innate cave abode, he felt as if he had lived for an eon. Was the first to notice Fang Liang's success. Fang Liang, with tears of gratitude, said, "The great master sacrificed his cultivation progress and life expectancy to reshape my talent." Everyone was shocked, wondering if the celestial anomaly was due to the reshaping of his talent. Hanju, inside the cave abode, asked them not to make a fuss and keep Fang Liang's matter a secret. With the rebirth of the cultivators, none of you should wander the mountain. Stay and continue your ascetic cultivation here. Silently marveled at how high his master's cultivation must be to reshape talent and trigger a heavenly phenomenon. Tick also did not expect that the master would sacrifice his cultivation progress and life expectancy for a disciple with mediocre talent, a true event. Truly unprecedented. Murongchi's respect for Grandmaster increased even further. Although Grandmaster was always aloof, he was absolutely clear about his stance towards his disciples. The happiest one was Sun Qi. No one was more concerned about Fang Liang's cultivation than him. Seeing Fang Liang still crying, he walked over to comfort him, saying that his great master must have his reasons for acting this way, and he would not have intervened without being certain of success. Master has always been devoted to ascetic cultivation and does not easily accept disciples. There are many excellent disciples in the sacred pure jade sect, so why are only a few of us here? When I was trapped by emotions, I was fortunate to be welcomed and guided by your great master, which helped me find the value and mission of my life. The reason I was trapped by emotions is because the people of the immortal ascetic mountains are as dense as their gratitude to me and the Fuzong tree. Thinking of this, Fang Liang cried again, realizing that it was not inappropriate, but that the great master wanted him to continue ascetic cultivation and wait for an opportunity. In his heart, Fang Liang bowed 100 times to Hangzhou. Grandmaster gave me a chance, and I won't let him down. Just like that, in less than half a year, Fang Liang had firmly consolidated the first level of the Golden Core realm, and then began to improve his cultivation like flying. A legend was officially beginning from this moment on. With the talent of a child of heaven and earth, plus his hard work and diligence, Fang Liang had reached the third level of the Golden Core realm in just 3 years. Qi, Sun Qiangang, and the others were completely dumbfounded. At this pace, it wouldn't be long before Fang Liang's cultivation would catch up to or even surpass theirs. One day, the sky displayed another phenomenon. A ball of fire fell from the sky, heading straight for the immortal ascetic mountain. With the blazing flames, Chick and Yang Tiandong thought it was an attack from demonic cultivators. And everyone immediately became alert. It was time to contribute to the mountain. How could we face Master if we couldn't even block this? Unexpectedly, before the fireball hit the ground, it changed direction and hit Fang Liang in the head. Everyone was shocked, thinking that Master's favorite disciple had passed away. What would they do? But the fireball only caused Fang Liang's head to swell and then roll to the side. Upon closer examination, the object looked like a spirit stone. Everyone felt that this stone contained extremely powerful energy. The fireball was so powerful that it contained extremely dense spiritual energy, and quickly had Fang Liang take her to Hangzhou for a closer inspection. Hangzhou examined her closely. The stone was the size of a fist, emitting a deep purple glow. Obviously, it was no ordinary stone. Hangzhou thought to himself, could it be that being a child of heaven and earth is like this? Opportunities knock on the door without even leaving the house. Absolutely amazing. Then, Hangzhou took out a celestial doll. I have just developed a new generation of products. Unfortunately, there is no material suitable for withstanding the power of the tribulation crossing realm, and it can only be disassembled to preserve the spiritual power separately. Even if you encounter Union Realm or low-level tribulation crossing cultivators, as long as you assemble the doll, it can save your life. Take this as an exchange for the spirit stone. Fang Liang thanked Hangzhou and left happily. Hangzhou thought to himself that if the spirit stone could attract a child from heaven and earth, it couldn't possibly be a comfortable item. Ordinary. At this moment, the heaven-earth grass that had been dormant in the cave suddenly woke up. Attracted by a familiar scent, the heaven-earth grass suddenly said, Master, I've seen this stone before. Have you seen it? Hangzhou was surprised and asked the heaven-earth grass, my former owner. She used to hold a stone like this while cultivating. What? Hangzhou was stunned. A stone held by immortals? Is it really an item from the upper realms? The spirit stone seemed to have been polished by someone, suggesting that the immortals from the upper realms must value it greatly. Hangzhou used her spiritual sense to examine her closely, but no matter how much he investigated, it was just a spirit stone, despite containing far more spiritual energy than any other spirit stone. He had once read a book describing similar treasures. Such treasures were known as enlightenment stones, and oftentimes, there would be chives growing nearby. The chives would absorb the spiritual energy from the enlightenment stone. Pondering the mysteries of the universe day and night, seeing Hangzhou suddenly freeze, the heaven-earth grass asked anxiously, what happened then? Hangzhou continued, do you remember what I told you? I will give you a complete life, and perhaps the key to your life lies within this stone. Hangzhou advised the heaven-earth grass to meditate closely with the stone, suggesting that it might not take hundreds of years for it to transform. Like this, the heaven-earth grass kept the stone by its side every day. After that, Han Ju continued his cultivation in seclusion, and 7 years passed in the blink of an eye. While he was busy cultivating, the cultivation world was undergoing tumultuous changes. The demonic cultivators became more and more active, which went against the righteous path. Previously, when the great sage Green Python wreaked havoc throughout the world, the cultivators of the demonic path would directly flee, and those who fought against the demonic path would be capsized. The cultivators of the demonic path would be capsized, and those who fought against the great sage Green Python were mainly from the righteous path. Therefore, after the death of the great sage Green Python, the righteous path was weaker than the demonic path. Under such circumstances, the activity of the demonic cultivators was unsettling. Until news spread throughout the cultivation world, the demonic emperor, who had disappeared thousands of years ago, was resurrected. The demonic emperor sought to establish a dynasty of the demonic path, and he was recruiting demonic cultivators from all over the world to join him. Various legends about the demonic emperor arose, and the demonic path was destroyed. Some were worried that the world would once again be plunged into chaos, while others were indifferent. The cultivation world has always seen shifts in power between the righteous and the demonic. That is why heroes emerge in every era. There is no need to worry too much. The great green python sage was so powerful before, but in the end, she still kicked the bucket. The demon emperor once unified the demonic cultivators of the entire world, but that was many years ago. Times have changed. During the conversation, the Nine Cauldron sage noticed that Li Qingzi had a strange expression on her face, as if she wanted to say something but hesitated. He suddenly remembered something and asked, "Elder Li, you asked about the demon emperor decades ago. Could it be that you know something?" Li Qingzi hesitated and said, "Decades ago, the elder who overturned gods specifically asked me to investigate the demon emperor. Perhaps he had foreseen something, but he didn't explain it, and he also hoped that I wouldn't spread the word." Everyone was shocked. Gu Yugang pondered and said, "Could it be that? Had the elder who overturned gods already foreseen the catastrophe that would befall the cultivation world? That's why he didn't say anything, fearing that we would worry." Everyone knew that the true pillar of the pure jade sect was the elder who overturned gods. The fact that even the elder who overturned gods had asked about this showed that this catastrophe would be no small matter. Lubaim spoke, "Sect leader, I want to move the Blood Flame Heavenly Gate branch directly to the Great Swallower." "Is that possible?" The Nine Cauldron sage shook his head and said, "The Great Swallower doesn't have enough space for all of you to cultivate. Let's set up a teleportation formation so that everyone can help each other and share what we have." The elders of the Pure Jade sect began to get busy. Meanwhile, the Nine Cauldron sage ordered that all the contribution tasks of the Pure Jade sect be confined within the Great Swallower. And all the disciples outside the Great Swallower were summoned back. Ju was still unaware of this matter. He was still cultivating. There was still some distance to reach the 4th level of the Tribulation Crossing realm. Speaking of which, Han Ju, who had been secluding himself for cultivation all year round, was also feeling bored. But he would often reminisce about the past to fill the void. This included memories from his previous life. In his previous life, Han Ju was a talented chef, dreaming of glorifying the family's spicy seafood. Just as he took over his grandfather's seafood restaurant, he died young, without even having laid a finger on his fiancée. Han Ju's thoughts were still with his girlfriend from his previous life, when suddenly a woman behind him called out, "Master." Han Ju was startled. It was impossible for outsiders to enter his innate grotto. He turned around abruptly, only to see a scene that made his blood boil. Han Ju looked at the flower pot of the heaven-earth grass, and sure enough, the pot was empty. The heaven-earth grass had actually transformed into human form. What was strange was that it had not undergone the heavenly tribulation during its transformation. For monsters to transform into human form, they had to undergo the heavenly tribulation. The heaven-earth grass was also confused as it had skipped the heavenly tribulation without having reached its 10,000-year period. Han Ju looked at the enlightenment stone. Could it really be related to this? This stone was truly incredible, possessing the power to avoid the heavenly tribulation. If so, wouldn't that mean there would no longer be a need to go through the tribulation? Fang Liang's gift turned out to be unexpectedly generous. Han Ju and the transformed heaven-earth grass continued studying the stone. Han Ju was surprised to discover that the stone was a stone, forgetting that the heaven-earth grass was without a single piece of clothing. With no choice, Hanju had to make an exception to leave her seclusion and go down the mountain to buy clothes for her. Dressed in new clothes, the heaven-earth grass instantly transformed into a cute and clumsy girl. However, her eyes and eyebrows hid a trace of aloofness. The Sultera grass said that its current appearance was modeled after its last master's appearance. Hanju didn't think much about it. The appearance of an immortal was nothing special, not even as beautiful as that of her master, the Sichuan fairy. Hanju asked her if she had thought of a name. "Master, how about if I call myself the Sword of Enlightenment from now on?" The heaven-earth grass said as it twisted. Hanju's face trembled slightly. Sword of Enlightenment. A fairy named like that? The Sword of Enlightenment said that it was appropriate since she was supposed to cultivate the way of the sword. Hanju didn't bother to think about it any further. After all, she was just a plant. From then on, the Sultera grass was renamed the Sword of Enlightenment. Anju began to teach him sword techniques personally. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed, so you don't miss the next chapters of this incredible story. And if you want to see more, just ask in the comments and I will bring the next part soon. Thank you for the support and see you in the next video.